Jab, jab. Stop. Baba ka, baba. Good boy, come on. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Go sa baba. Baba. Good boy, good boy. Good boy. Good boy, good boy. Sorry for the delay. Drop by lang bago matulog. Ah, tutulog ka pa lang. Okay. Let's wait till there's about maybe 5 to 10 people. Then we'll get started. So I'm doing this every Tuesday for this month. Simulation interviews and interview tips every Tuesday from 8 to 11. So sa mga naka-line up for interviews with direct clients or, I don't know, VA agencies, any sort of job interview, good luck to you. At sana may ma-pick up kayo dito, di ba? So, my name is Jen. I'm the VA interviewer, and I've been interviewing VAs and freelancers for about 8 to 9 years. Lahat ng klaseng position I've interviewed for. Media buyers, web developers, designers, social media managers, people who conceptualize stuff, project managers, lahat in-interview ko. Appointment setters, ISAs. So, and I might have an interview later, or it's more like just a meeting with yung isang client na hinahabol-habol pa rin ako. Diyos ko. If you want to work with me, make me an offer. Make me a good offer. An offer that I can take seriously. Hey, AJ, hey, Tycoon VA, what's up, what's up? Hindi pa pala siya live. Okay, guys, so if you have any questions about interviews or if you're interviewing right now for a work for home position, feel free to drop your questions in the comments. So, supposedly, we're going to have some simulation interviews, kaso hindi, wala pa nagpapaschedule. So we're just going to do a session today on hot interview tips, and we're going to start with the basics, okay? If you haven't followed me, go ahead and follow me, and you know, you can see a lot of interview tips on my videos anyway. So we're going to start with the basics, meaning yung mga types ng interviews, okay? And it's you don't have to memorize it, it's just good for you to know. Okay, so whether you're interviewing with a direct client or a VA agency or any kind of job, project-based or regular, full-time, part-time, mga ganyan. You should know that if you're doing an interview with a client, unless yung client's business is in recruitment, tapos HR talaga yung client nyo, karamihan ng mga clients, they don't know how to interview. Okay. Hindi sila marunong mag-interview ng tao. So, kaya sinasabi ng iba, bakit pag foreigner, pag client, ang dali-dali ng interview? Because the client probably doesn't know how to interview. It's that simple. Okay. When you interview with a VA agency, yung VA agency, they usually have enough money to, if they have at least, I don't know, 40 VAs, they usually have enough money to hire people who know how to interview. So, mga tao na may background sa HR, mga tao with a BS psychology degree or, I don't know, a degree in behavioral science. So, yung mga kumpanya na kaya sinasabi niya ba't ang hirap-hirap pag Pilipino nag-interview? Kasi malamang binabayaran yung interviewer ng kliyente or ng VA agency. They can afford to do that. Okay. So that's actually a good sign if yung nag-interview sa'yo is marunong mag-interview. Kasi the client can afford to pay for somebody who is a professional interviewer. The client who is interviewing themselves means either start up yung negosyo or wala pa siya masyadong budget para mag-hire ng tao na professional interviewer. Okay. If you disagree, then, I mean, we can agree to disagree. Like, it's in your, and it's for you, it's an opinion. For me, it's a fact. Okay. Most clients that interview you themselves, they don't know how to interview. So we're going to talk about people who actually know how to interview, people who know how to interview you. Okay? So ito yung mga nasa HR team, mga ganyan, yung mga nag-i-interview na nasa VA agency. There are two types of interviews. There's usually the structured interview, there's the unstructured interview. Okay? So just from the title, really easy to guess what they're like. The structured interview, it follows a plan, it follows a structure, it follows a pattern. Yung unstructured interview, it could start off by following a plan, but then biglang lilihis. Okay. And I've done both. Okay. Sometimes I'm doing a structured interview and then because of the position or because of the applicant, that I'm not getting a sense of who they really are and ano yung experience, talagang lilihis talaga ako sa unstructured. Diba? Kaya minsan, sa interview, hindi ko lang kung naranasan nyo, that you're feeling that you're going around in circles. Like, you're going round and round and round in circles. It's become an unstructured interview. There is an answer that the interviewer or the person that's interviewing you is looking for na hindi mo pa binibigay. Okay? So there's two types of interviews, structured, unstructured. Yung HR na nag-i-interview sa'yo, usually yung mga initial interview, mga first interview, nagbibigay yan ng structured. Kasi yung nagbibigay ng initial interview sa inyo is they're not super experienced as an HR yet. Usually yung mga HR specialist. Hindi pa yan yung mga HR manager. Okay. They might have been interviewing people for, 2 years, 3 years. So, maliit pa lang yung experience nila. As in, konti pa lang yung experience. So they'll do the structured. They'll have that in front of them, and then you'll know that it's structured. They might even say, okay, let's go on to the next question, which means binabasa nila. Hi Arnel, good evening po. So ayan. That's it. Ayan. So let's go first into the structured interview. What are the parts of the structured interview? I'm assuming that, halimbawa, nag-apply ka sa VA agency and then pinaschedule ka or inischedule ka for the initial interview sa VA agency. Okay, you can expect for your initial interview, more or less, you're gonna get some form of a structured interview. Okay, structured interview starts off with an opener. Diba? Opener, greeting. Make sure, and usually yung mga interviews nasa video conferencing like Google Meet or Zoom, mga ganyan. So, it goes without saying, pag may interview schedule ka, please show up before the time of the interview. Or, let's say, 30 minutes before, i-test nyo yung link. Okay? Like, i-click nyo, make sure that it's working, diba? Kung mamaya yung sinend sa inyo na link, walang H, diba? Walang HTTPS. Tapos click kayo ng click, hindi gumagana. Okay. So maybe 30 minutes before the interview, just check the link. But then, the link might be being used by somebody. So, just come straight out of the link. Huwag kayo magstay doon. Kung may nakikita nyo na may tao doon sa, doon sa Zoom call, diba? Tapos tinetest nyo lang yung link, lumabas agad kayo. Kasi they might be having a meeting before your interview. Okay. So, it's really common sa VA agencies or marketing agencies, if that's what you're applying for, na they do a group interview. So maybe you're not the only one that's being interviewed. Um, if you're applying for a very specific role, like let's say operations manager, baka ikaw lang sa interview. Okay, so usually for mid-management, higher roles, it could be just you. Okay, but if marami kayo nag-apply for the same post, it could be a group interview. Okay, if it's a group interview, it is a little bit of a challenge kasi dun lalabas kung sino magaling. Okay, tapos mako-compare ka. Okay. Ngayon, kung medyo introvert ka, medyo tahimik ka, syempre, kung sino yung maingay, makulit, siya yung mapapansin agad. Okay? But it does not mean na kailangan maging ganun ka rin. If that's not naturally you, don't be like that. Okay? Idaan mo sa interview sa utak. Be yourself. Okay? Be yourself. Stand strong. Wag ka magpadala sa iba. Don't act not like yourself. Okay? It's gonna make you seem very unnatural. And then yung mga sagot mo is otherwise hindi ganun maging sagot mo. 'Di ba? Just be yourself at the interview. So, usually there's gonna be an opener. That's usually the greeting. So if the interviewer says hi, say hello back. Okay. Good evening. Good evening din po. Or good evening. If the interview is in English, that goes without saying. You have to speak English. Okay. Kapag nag-lapse ang interviewer mo into Tagalog, then you can lapse into Tagalog. Pero pag bumalik siya ng English, bumalik ka rin ng English. Okay? Is that understood? Yeah. I'm going to talk about my experiences in interviews later on, once we're done. Okay. So for those who are joining, my name is Jen. I'm the VA interviewer. I've been interviewing VAs and freelancers for about 8-9 years. And I'm doing a live every Tuesday just for this month on interview tips for VAs and freelancers and pwede rin simulation interview. Yun lang wala akong nakascheduled for today. So, and this is the first session for this month. So, hopefully next week may simulation interview, diba? I've interviewed all types of VAs. So, from developers, designers, social media people, illustrators, cold callers, appointment setters, ISAs, project managers, VA managers, you name it, I might have interviewed it. Okay. Ayan. So we talked earlier about what types of interviews there are. So there's the structured, there's the unstructured. Pwedeng mag-crossover, yung structured and unstructured. Okay. And then now we're talking about the parts of the interview. Ngayon, and we talked about the language in the interview. If your interviewer greets you in English, sagot nyo, of course, is in English. Ngayon, if somewhere along the way, naglalaps into Tagalog yung interviewer nyo, pwede kayo maglaps into Tagalog. Follow the leader lang, okay? If the interviewer goes back to English, then you go back to English, okay? But please do not ask the interviewer, is the interview gonna be in English? Don't ask that. Okay? Alam nyo naman yung English tsaka yung Tagalog, di ba? Kaya follow the leader lang kayo when it comes to language. Alright? So, for the Zoom call, what if you are late? Okay? As much as possible, test the link for the interview at least 30 minutes before the time of your interview. Pero pag chinek nyo yung link, labas agad din kayo. Okay, wag kayo magstay doon. Kasi malay nyo yung Zoom link ginagamit for another meeting. So check the link, come straight out of the link just to make sure that it's working. What happens if, halimbawa, nawalan ka ng kuryente, so you are late to the interview? Okay. The thing that people do that which is my experience, they try to sneak in and hope that the interviewer doesn't notice. Okay? The interviewer always notices. Bakit? Virtual kasi hindi yan classroom. Na pwede kang sumingit sa magtago sa likod ng mga kaklase mo. And then sumingit ka sa silya mo. Okay? It's virtual. Anyone who's late, you will be seen immediately. Okay? So, if you're late, own up to being late. And then talk to the interviewer, but say, I'm so sorry, excuse me. Okay? Excuse mo yung sarili mo, excuse me, I am so sorry. Tapos, yung iba sinasabi, well, ayoko kasi i-interrupt eh. Anong mas bastos? I-interrupt mo to say sorry and give a reason for you being late, or you not saying absolutely nothing for 1 hour? Okay? It's so much more ruder to say nothing. Hindi mo nirespeto yung interviewer na nagsasalita na okay lang mag-interrupt. 'Di ba? Basta do it in a way na respectful, right? Hi, I'm so sorry. I don't want to interrupt you. I'm so sorry. I was late. Nawalan po kami ng kuryente. I'm so sorry. Okay? And then let the interviewer continue. That's if you're late. Okay? 80% of the time, yung pag nag-i-interview ka tapos may late, hindi sila nagsasalita. And that fucking pisses me off. That really pisses me off. Hihintayin pa nila na sitahin ko sila. Oh, why are you late? You really want that? Okay. And it shows that you're proactive. It shows you're accountable, shows you're responsible, it shows you're proactive. If you own up to being late, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm late because nawalan po kami ng kuryente. I am so sorry. Diba? That's it. And then let it continue. It's really important to maintain or to start with parang maganda yung feelings, maganda yung vibe sa interview. And keep in mind, you're the applicant, ikaw ang may kailangan sa kumpanya. Unless talagang hinabol ka ng kumpanya. Na hinabol ka sa LinkedIn, oh please, we would like to talk to you. Pag ginanong ka, well, it still doesn't mean you can be rude, but, diba, most applicants, you're applying because ikaw ang may kailangan dun sa company. So the person who's interviewing you represents the company. So, it's really important that you start off on a good note, that you're respectful of the person who's interviewing you, of the time, and kung sino yun nandun sa Zoom call or sa Google Meet, kasi mamaya group interview. Okay. So let's say now you're in the video conference for your interview. Let's say it's a group interview. So for example, 10 kayo. You're all applying for a marketing automation VA job, let's say. The interviewer is going to start off with a greeting. So you greet back, 'di ba? Pag sinabi, good evening. Okay, that's it. Hi, hello. Yung mas maganda is maging proactive ka. Pag sinabi ng interviewer, hi guys, what will really make their day is if you say, hi, how are you? Okay. Because honestly, karamihan ng tao is takot sa interviewer. If you show that you're respectful and you're not scared, okay, just ask the interviewer, hi, how are you? Okay. That in a group interview, and you're the only one who asked that ng interviewer, hi, how are you? 'Di ba? Ikaw lang nagtanong nun. You're the one who stands out. In a group interview, you want to be the one that stands out. Okay. Do you believe to this? Okay, so you're in the wrong live. Okay, if you want to talk about LGBTQ, this isn't the right live for you. Okay, this is not the right live for you. There are people here who want to listen to this topic about hot interview tips for VAs and freelancers. If you want to discuss another topic, either do your own live or join another live. Sorry. I'm just very blunt. Okay. All right. Thank you, friends. Interviewing ka ba? Mark Francis, shout out. Yeah, shout out to you, Mark Francis. So anyone who's interviewing right now for any jobs, mga ganyan-ganyan, um, I might have an interview later. Actually, it's more like a client meeting. You know, it's not really an interview. I mean, I got dressed, but it's not for an interview. Diba? It's more for a meeting. Ayan. So, may greeting na. Hello, hi, how are you? So, sumagot sa interview. Oh, I'm really good. Thank you so much for you guys. How would you answer? Tell me about yourself for no experience po. Okay, so I'm not making any assumptions whether may experience or hindi. Let's just assume in this scenario na 10 kayo all applying for the same job, which is marketing automation, and let's assume that none of you have experience. Okay, so yes, good evening. Oh, okay. How is it in northern summer? Sana hindi mulan. So ayan. So let's assume, and this is a situation that I have handled. Okay, so for those of you who were late, my name's Jen. I'm the VA interviewer. I'm doing kind of this live every Tuesday for this month only on simulation interviews and interview tips, especially if you're a VA or freelancer. So if you're interviewing right now, feel free to let me know if it's for a VA agency or direct client, or there's something very specific, that you're interviewing for. But honestly, in 8 or 9 years, I've probably interviewed for almost any virtual post. Okay, I've been a VA for 10.5 years, and I've held a lot of positions. So it's not just interviewing is not the only thing that I do. Okay, and then since September last year, ano rin ako, voiceover artist and voice actor. Yeah, hello, good evening, Mr. Cavite, Mr. Jonathan. Good evening po. May interview po ko later with a VA agency. Oh, hey, Yvonne. Which VA agency po? Sana maayos. I will be doing a series then, Yvonne, on how to know how much your client is paying for you if you're at a VA agency. I'll do a series of videos this week on video resume and how to know how much your client is paying for you. It's a VA agency. Okay, so let's continue. So, may greetings na. Keep in mind at this stage, yung interviewer nyo, nakita na yung resume ninyo. So they know who you are. They know a little bit about your experience, your history, and they probably have your resume in front of them. So ready sila. Okay. They're going to start off with a structured interview. So as part of the opener, yes, they're going to ask questions like, tell me a little bit about yourself. So usually after the greeting, kung maayos, hi mukbang, what's up, dude? I hope you're good. So usually after the greeting, if maayos yung interviewer nyo, they're going to set expectations for what's going to happen in their interview. Especially if it's a group interview. Kasi mahirap mag-control ng group, diba? Hey, mukbang, how's your interview? Tapos na ba yung interview mo? Let me know. Hey, Jairo, what's up, Jai? Ayan. So, as part of the opener, they should set expectations. So usually when I do an interview, I tell them, so thank you so much for making it, guys. You're all interviewing for the position of automation VA, and I'm going to be asking, we're going to go round robin. So round robin means isa-isa. Okay. Sana nga po maging maayos with the client na po kasi medyo kinakabahan kasi first time ko later. Yeah, kaya mo yan. Oh. Di pa sa Feb 10 saka Feb 16. Dalawa. 2 clients. Same role, same post. Okay. So, at the start of an interview, magsaset ako ng expectation. And then, I'll tell them, we're gonna go round robin, and that means isa-isa kayong ka-questionin. And you're all applying for the same role. Then I tell them, okay, so we're scheduled, usually pag group interview, medyo matagal yun. So, maghanda kayo noon. Maghanda kayo ng tubig or, something to drink, whatever. And if there have been kung hindi nag-set ng expectations yung interviewer nyo, magtanong kayo. Okay, magtanong kayo. Kahit magsungit yung interviewer, it's for you, right? You're asking for you and for everyone else. So, ang problema kasi sa Pinoy, parang ayaw nila magsalita kasi nakakahiya, kasi nakaka-disrupt. Hindi nakaka-disrupt. These interviews are about you. Okay? If maayos yung interviewer nyo, they're on your side. Okay? They want you to succeed. They want you to make it. But, syempre, hindi naman pwede ibigay na walang interview. Oh, isa yun na yung trabaho. Tapos, hindi nila ginawa yung trabaho nila. Okay? So, we're assuming medyo maayos yung interviewer ninyo. And if it was me, I'd set expectations. And I would tell them, so we're scheduled for the next 2 hours. There's 10 of you. So please be mindful of each other's time. Respect each other. Pag sumasagot kayo, keep it, brief. Just answer the questions directly. Now, if you need to go to the bathroom in the course of the interview, then you don't need to tell me. Just turn off your video and then, go on mute and then go to the bathroom. Right? Then when you're back, turn your video back on. I know you're back. That's it. Diba? Ngayon, kung walang setting expectations ng ganun, magtanong kayo. Diba? Or mag-chat kayo. Excuse me, I need to go to the bathroom. Is it okay? Diba? Na-interview po ako sa Cyberbacker and recorded po yung interview. Interviews should always be recorded, but the interviewer should tell you. Okay? So this interview is going to be recorded for, quality and training purposes. And then, if may ibang setting expectations, like for example, to make, kasi yung isang problema sa group interview is ang daming background noise kasi ang dami ninyo eh, 'di ba? So, for hindi lahat tahimik yung background. So, for delicadesa's sake, please go on mute. Okay, especially if even if it's not a group interview, even if it's just you interviewing, just go on mute. Okay, and then once magsasalita ka, then unmute. It's that simple. Do interviewers notice po if memorize ang answers ng applicant? Yes. Keep in mind, ang interviewer, ang tunay na, not the client, okay? Because karamihan ng client, they don't know how to interview. Okay, and then ang dami nagsushoot ng TikTok video na, pag client kasi ang dali-dali ng interview. Because the client doesn't know how to interview. They go straight to skill set. Do you know how to use Photoshop? Do you know how to do infographics? Do you know how to do logos? Yes. That's it. Hindi marunong mag-interview ang client. Okay? If you're interviewing for a VA agency, the VA agency spends money to hire people who are professional interviewers. And people who have a BS Psych or BS in Behavioral Science. So, kapag nasa interview kayo, usually video interview, make sure na presentable kayo. Okay? Huwag kayo pumunta na nakapambahay, naka-sleeveless, nakapusod, di ba? Nakahubad, nagve-vape. Like, seriously? It's an interview. Okay? It's gonna last at least an hour. And it's 1 hour out of 24 hours in your day. So make some sort of effort. Diba? So after setting expectation, so mag-start na yung interview. And there's and medyo common na, there's a lot of videos on common interview questions. So common interview opener questions are, so why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself? Okay. Tell me something about yourself that's not on your resume. Tell me about, what you like to do outside of work. Mga ganyan. The reason why nagtatanong ng opener questions ang interviewer is to get you to open up, to get you to start talking. Kaya yung mga questions, sa labas may makikinig. Sure mukbang. May YouTube channel ka ba, bakla? Bakla, hindi ka naman bakla. Let me know so I can add you there. So, ayan. So, the opener interview questions should not be that hard. It's to get you talking. At least one opener interview question. But the most important skill you're gonna meron. Sige. So, the most important skill you can bring to the interview is listening. Okay, listening is the most underrated skill ever in the world, and not enough people do it. Kasi mamaya, yung opener question, narinig mo lang is tell me something about yourself. Yun lang narinig mo, di ba? Kaso, ang tinanong, tell me something about yourself in less than 2 minutes. And you didn't hear the less than 2 minutes. You went on for 10 minutes. So the most important skill set you're going to bring to the interview is listening. Active listening. Active listening. And if you're not sure, okay, ask. Magtanong kayo. Okay, so yung mga nagko-comment, nagtatanong ng question, we're gonna cover that in the course of the live. And then I'll be looking back at, some questions after we go through it. So opener interview questions designed to get you talking, to get you comfortable. Okay. Mag-ingat din kayo sa opener questions. Kasi if you reveal anything too personal, it could bite you in the ass later on in the interview. The interviewer is also listening to everything that you're saying. So, pwede niya gamitin yun sa'yo later on in the interview. Okay? Naranasan ko yun. Nagawa na sa akin yun. Naginamit na yung what I actually said in the interview. And I've also used that technique. Okay? So, structured interview, magsa-start yan, opener. Opener question. Keep your answers brief. Okay? Don't go into anything too personal. Tapos wag kayo mag-reveal na mga, well, I'm a single mom. The guy that I was with decided that he didn't want to marry me. Like, you don't want to you don't want to reveal stuff like that. Okay? If you're being asked, I've had people say that. Well, I'm a single mom and I had to work because, my husband died, and I'm like, what do you expect me to say? Right? Are you trying to get the job on on a guilt trip? Because it's pathetic. Okay? It's not a good idea. Straight to the point. Okay? Tell me a little bit something about yourself. What is the best way to answer that question? Okay? Wag niyo ulitin kung ano nasa resume niyo. Nakita na yun ng interviewer. Okay? Don't repeat what is on the resume. Yung mga experience. Tapos nagsimula kayo dun sa day 1 sa call center. 5 years kayo sa call center. Umabot na kayo ng 15 minutes. Nobody wants to listen to anyone talking about themselves for 15 minutes. Okay? If you get asked that question, the best way to answer it is keep it light. Okay? A little bit, tell them a little bit about your background, or a little bit about you personally. Well, I'm Jennifer Brillo, and people call me Jen. So, that's fine. And I'm 49 years old. I'm married. I have a daughter. And I was in the BPO industry for 11 years, and I've been a VA for 10 and a half years. I really enjoy sports like boxing, Muay Thai. I have an amateur boxing record of 2 wins, 2 draws, no losses. That's it. That's how I would answer that question. Okay? Keep it really light. Anything that... Kasi pag nag-include kayo ng personal details na hindi maganda, may impluwensyahan yung opinions sa inyo ng interviewer. Mahirap yun pag group interview. Tapos yung ni-reveal nyo, because my husband died and then nabangkarote yung business ko. So now, tumatak na sa utak na interviewer nyo na, siya yung nabangkarote. Tapos walang na single mom. It's not a positive, you know. Like you want to start the interview and keep the interview on a positive note as much as possible. Diba? And it's really easy to start on a positive note, right? Um, like something about your background. If you're still single, or if you're in a long-term relationship, that's a good, if you're married, that's a good thing. If you want to talk about your kids, like just how many kids is fine, diba? If your husband or wife works abroad, is my wife is a nurse in London. Yung mga ganyan, yung mga light, super light na topics lang. Okay? And then you might want to include a little bit unusual fact about yourself. Like, like I included, I have an amateur boxing record, and that's true. Okay, I'm not making that up. Okay? I'm really an amateur boxer. Kahit tanungin mo sa sa boxing community na medyo maliit lang naman. Okay? So I included a fact about myself that's a little bit, unusual, pero hindi siya pangit, 'di ba? Like, or you can talk about, I'm really interested in astrology. I've been interested in astrology for the last 5 years. Mga ganon. What are the best payment methods? Because I've noticed the rate is low in some banks. Bumaba talaga po yung rate. Bumaba talaga siya. Pagdating ko ng Manila, I'll try some goods. I'll try sana goods. Ay, sorry. Yeah. Where are you right now, Bianca? Okay. Anyway, so ayan. Keep it light, keep it positive. If you're going to talk about yourself personally, avoid controversial hobbies, controversial topics, 'di ba? Like, what is a controversial hobby? If let's say you're a bikini model, 'di ba? Or you do semi-nude modeling, or you do modeling at car shows, you don't want to bring it up. Okay, you don't want to bring that up, because if you say, well, I'm a model, and I do semi-nude modeling for artists. Now the interviewer, and especially if the interviewer is a guy, now he's looking at you and trying to picture you with no clothes on. You don't want that to happen. Okay, if you're a guy and you do like modeling, semi-nude modeling, bikini modeling, you don't want to mention that. If you're just a normal model, like you do like commercial modeling, or halimbawa, lumalabas ka sa TV commercial, okay lang. Yung mga ganyan, 'di ba? Pero anything that's kind of controversial, if you have controversial hobbies or memberships, like, I'm a member of the Philippines Communist Party, you want to leave that out of the conversation. You're not being criticized, but yung professionalism kasi sa interview, 'di ba? It's important that you're honest, but there's such a thing as being too honest, 'di ba? And that will bring down, alam mo naman, like, and especially if group interview, 'di ba? So makokompara ka pa sa iba. How about po yung interview na recording lang? What do you mean recording lang? I don't get it. If the interview is being recorded, the interviewer should tell you. So this interview is being recorded for quality and training. Yeah, like you're an activist. Like, just leave it out of the conversation. Okay, leave it for yourself. It's something that's part of you, something you enjoy, something that you do. You don't have to put it out there if it's gonna be a cause for people criticizing you, diba? May record po ba kayo ng app to communicate in English? If you wanna learn English, go to YouTube. That's what I do. Okay, but yeah, I didn't learn my accent, like I grew up abroad, so English is really my first language. Okay, but as a voice actor, like I learn accents, so I go to YouTube. What is the best structure? Tell me about yourself, po. Well, there's certain methods. They tell you about the STAR method, and you know what? For me, like, putting in too many methods and answers, you can't memorize answers. Okay? Tapos, kabado ka sa interview, will you remember all those methods and all those answers? Probably not. Okay? My best advice for somebody in an interview is just two. Okay? First, listen. Listen. Actively listen. That's the most important skill you'll bring to the interview. And two, be transparent. Professional transparent. Okay? Hindi yung honest na parang honest ka sa best friend mo. Okay? Hindi, wag mo dalhin yan sa interview. Those are the only two pieces of advice that I will tell you. Kasi the interview is already, like you're already very nervous at the interview. If people are going to teach you, oh, remember the STAR method, remember this method, remember the, what's the other method? It's on the tip of my tongue. Remember this, remember that, remember yung answer na gan, remember yung ganto, ganyan, ganyan. Like, you're not going to remember that. Maghahalo-halo na yan sa utak mo. So I only really give two pieces of advice. Okay? Yung resume mo, okay, dapat alam mo kung ano nasa resume mo. Okay? Don't use somebody else's resume. Listen, okay, at the interview, actively listen. And if you don't understand, ask. Wag naman paulit-ulit na repeat. Please repeat, please repeat. Hindi ka talaga nakikinig doon. Okay? And the second is be professional honest. Okay? Keep your answers honest but professional. Okay? Madam, are you in the US? No. First interview ko po, minimarize ko pagdating doon na blank. Exactly. And you know what? I know that as an interviewer. I know that. Okay? Talagang kakabahan ka. The interview is not meant, it's not a pleasurable, hindi siya parang nanonood ka na sine. Okay? Dapat, pag pumunta ka sa interview, handa ka na matusta ka. That's what it is. You're gonna get roasted. Okay, you're going to get asked about every aspect of your professional life, even some aspects of your personal life. Matutusta ka, maghanda ka na matusta ka. It's only about the next hour. So, siguro naman, kaya mo yun. Tapos kumain ka na ng McDo after, di ba? Eat your feelings. Okay. Joke. Ayan. So, opener is designed to get you talking. And also the interviewer, tinitignan na how you communicate. Paano ka nagsasalita? What is your style of communication? Diba? And also the interviewer is already seeing, like, do you know how to listen? Okay? Keep in mind, kapag yung interviewer mo is professional interviewer, it's not just what you say or how you say it. They're looking at you. They're looking at how are you dressed. They're looking at your hand gestures, okay? They're looking at your facial expression. They're looking at, your expressions. Yung ano yung ginagamit mo na kasi yung mga tao, they have what we call a baseline behavior, diba? There's things that you say all the time. Like for example, me, I say okay. Ganon palagi. Okay. Well, Gen Zs are really like that, okay? Yun talaga. So there's a baseline behavior. Tinitignan nila yun. Diba? Can the interviewer tell if kind of your behavior is not natural? Yes, they can tell. Kabado ko final interview, ayun, ligwak dahil sa inisip ko yung tama ba yung grammar. Yeah, don't worry about your grammar. Don't worry about your grammar. Dami ko po na kukuha sa mga sinabi niyo po. Lots of input po. Good. Can you say po sa fake it till you make it? I hate that fake it till you make it. I hate that. I never use that. What I say is the reason why you fake it is because you're fake. People who fake it are fake because they don't really have the experience. They don't really have the skill set. Paano po mag-apply? Ano bang ina-applyan mo? Do you know what I do? What if I told you, sige, mag-apply ka, sex chat line. Nagre-recruit ako for sex chat line. Gusto mo? Yun ang sinasabi ko, magtanong muna kayo. Magtanong muna kayo. Look at the topic of the live. This is about interview tips. Okay? I'm not trying to get anyone hired. This is about interview tips for VAs and freelancers. Magbasa muna kayo. May possibility po ba na makuha kahit zero experience? Any tips po? Yeah. I've hired a lot of people with zero experience, but it depends kung ano yung role. Kung tumatanggap ng zero experience. There's certain roles that you really need experience, like media buyer. I will never hire somebody with zero experience as media buyer or a web developer. Lalo na full stack developer, hindi ako kukuha ng no experience. Pero kung halimbawa, cold caller, appointment setter, marketing automation VA, if there's training, yes, possible. I'm not saying yes for sure. Possible. And again, it depends, right? It depends on the interview, depends on the resume. Somebody who has had like 15 jobs in the last 2 years, I won't hire them. No, it's too unstable. Diba? Parang isang trabaho mo 3 months, isa 8 months, parang yung isa 2 months. No. If you're real, it'll come out naturally. If you're real, right? And why would you not want to be yourself? Diba? Bakit? Why? You don't think you're good enough? What are you doing in the interview if you're not good enough? Go to the interview prepared to be stressed, because it is a stressful situation. Diba? Like, kung sino nagsabi sa'yo na, mag-relax ka lang sa interview. You're not gonna be relaxed, okay? Because interview is stressful. That's what it is. That's what it is. Ganun talaga. May mga bagay na hindi relaxing. Like, for example, yung mga girls who are taking pregnancy tests, that's a stressful situation. Are you pregnant? Are you not pregnant? Diba? You're in that middle ground where you don't know. What you should do is learn to embrace the unknown. Okay? Learn to love the unknown. What can you say about 2-year employment gap? You're going to be asked about that. Ako nga, I resigned from the last VA agency I worked for last October. So, and then I took 2 months off. So, let's say October, November, December, January. So, 4 or 5 months na ako, hindi nag-work. And actually, that's not true. Like, I do like freelance stuff, freelance voice acting, voiceover. So there's a gap in my resume of 5 months. So if somebody asks, why is there a gap of 5 months? Then, I'll just be honest. Like, what were you doing in the 2-year employment gap? Okay. Want to be honest to the interviewer about sa physical condition ko? Bring it up. Right? Mas okay na manggaling sa'yo kesa na halughugin na interviewer. Na hintayin mo. It's the same thing as being late. Diba? You know what fucking drives me crazy? Yung mga tao na late sa interview, tas hindi sila magsasalita. That's such bad manners. Such bad manners. You think you're sneaking in? You think hindi ka nakita? Nakikita ka. Nakikita ka sa interview kahit 10 yung aplikante. So, mas maganda na mag-interrupt ka at maki-excuse ka. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I was late kasi nawalan po kami ng kuryente. Our electricity went out. I am so sorry about that. Diba? Thanks po. Napadpad ako sa live mo. I learned a lot more. Yeah, so every Tuesday, just for this month, I'm gonna be doing like hot interview tips, and kung gusto niyo magpa-schedule na simulation interview, then just let me know. Okay? Mag-comment kayo sa isa sa mga videos ko, or send me a DM if I follow you or you follow me. That's kind of the way that works. Ayan. So, opener questions, maghanda kayo ng magaan na sagot. And keep it brief. Okay? Don't talk about yourself for 5 minutes. What is there so interesting about you that's going to take 5 minutes? Hindi ka naman celebrity. Like, have your answer to the opener question done within like 30 seconds, 45 seconds, at least 1 minute. Okay? Pinakamatagal siguro 2 minutes. Kung marami kang ipapaliwanag. Any behavior po or mannerism na bawal during an interview? You guys already know that. Diba? Don't show up nakapambahay. Nag-interview coaching po kayo. No. Resume review. No. Okay. So, wag kayo, don't show up nakapambahay, nakapusod, nagve-vape, nakahubad, smoking. Don't show up drunk for the interview. Okay. So, goes without saying. All right. Show up on time. I mean, these are all common sense. Nobody even has to coach you. Right? You guys already know this. If you don't know this, maybe you have no business working. Right? Kasi kung may experience ka na nagtrabaho sa BPO or whatever, sa BPO, so na-interview ka na for BPO. So, you've actually already gone through the interview process. It's just that it was on-site. And actually, mas nakakatakot yun, yung on-site, di ba? Isipin mo kung on-site tapos late ka sa interview, can you sneak in? Of course not. You can't sneak in. Di ba? So what makes you think sa Zoom call you can sneak into the interview? Magsalita ka. Show your, pag nagsalita ka, pag nanggaling sa'yo, it shows that you're accountable. It shows that you're responsible. Okay? It shows na kaya mong aminin that you made a mistake. And that's very desirable for clients or, companies, VA agencies, whoever you're interviewing for. All those rules apply in every scenario. Like, when is it okay that you're late for an interview? Right? So, ayan. So, we're past the opener. That's the first part of your interview. Once you're talking, okay, then you move on to the next part of the interview. Usually, the questions will be based on your resume. Okay? Huwag nyo ulitin yung nakalagay sa resume ninyo. Kasi alam na yan ng interviewer, nabasa na niya yung resume ninyo. Sometimes, especially sa VA agency, they'll make you fill out a personality test before the interview. Maybe. Okay? Hindi naman lahat. So, nabasa na nila yung resulta ng personality test nyo na malamang hindi nyo alam. Except if HR specialist kayo, then you know how personality tests work. So, they might have read your personality test and IQ test, and they've for sure read your resume. Okay? So, make sure yung resume nyo is updated at alam nyo yung pinaglalagay nyo sa resume. Okay? Mamaya, yung resume nyo, pinasa nyo sa 50 na VA agency. You don't even remember what you put on there. That's not gonna help you. Okay? Tapos ina-applyan nyo is media buyer. Make sure you know what's on your resume and make sure it's your resume. Don't use somebody else's resume like, auto-fail. If interviewer nyo is matino, magaling, they will know right away. Okay? So, they're going to move on to questions based on your resume. An interviewer, the first thing that I look at is experience. Kasi you're applying for a certain job. So, tulad nung nag-comment kanina, pwede po mag-apply. Ano bang ina-applyan mo? Alam mo ba? Do you have the skills for that? Do you have the experience? What if we need skills and experience? You can't just apply for anything. Diba? Yun nga yung, diba tinanong ko, what if the person's live is they're hiring for a sex chat line? Do you still want it? Diba? Kaya magtanong kayo. Listening. Get into the live, listen to the discussion, read the title. What is the live about? Diba? And then, don't just say, pwede po mag-apply. Hiring po ba kayo? What if we are hiring for OnlyFans? Do you still want it? Diba? So, ayan. Make sure you know what's on your resume because, you'll get asked questions based on your experience. So, for example, if your last call center, you were there for 3 years, make sure you know the dates that you were there. And yung nag-a-apply lang sa resume, for me, if you have experience going back like 10 years, you kind of don't need that. For me, what's most pertinent or what's most important is about, pati Coke, get some Coke. Get some soda. So, what's really important for me is maybe the last, 5 years. If it's like a management post or, if you're applying for a director of operations, COO, maganyan, the last 7 to 10 years, maybe. Okay, maybe. But, typically the last 5 years is enough. Make sure at least yung last 5 years, alam nyo yung mga pinagagagawa ninyo. Okay? If there's a gap in your resume, make sure you have an answer ready as to what you were doing during the gap. Kahit yung gap is 6 months. Okay? Maghanda kayo na itatanong sa inyo yan. 'Di ba? And can the interviewer tell if you're lying? The interviewer doesn't know what you're lying about, but yes, they can tell if you're lying. Bakit? Kasi pinag-aralan nila yan eh. 'Di ba? Yung mga BS Psych, yung mga behavioral science, yung mga what if you have just 1 year? It's fine. Yeah, depende sa job. So, sa job ad, kung ina-applyan nyo is they need 2 to 3 years experience and you have no experience, then you have no business applying for that job. If it's a requirement. Kung requirement nila, required 2 to 3 years doing Meta ads or Facebook ads plus Instagram ads plus LinkedIn ads, and you don't have that, don't apply for the role. Hindi ka qualified. Okay? And wag nyo i-doctor yung resume ninyo para magmukha kayo may experience. Mapapahiya kayo. Okay? I've done that, like that's happened to me so many times where the person lied about their experience or they used somebody else's experience. Okay? Mayayari ka when you get to the behavioral portion of the interview. So, remember that we're doing a structured interview. So we started with opener, greeting opener. Okay? Just to get you talking. Now we're on to the part of the interview where you're being asked about your experience, your skills, your resume. Okay? So, ayun. At least the last 5 years, you know what you've been doing. And a really tricky question is, why did you leave your last job? Okay. What interviewers really love to see, what I love to see, is long experience. Hi B, what's up, what's up? So, for example, me, I've been a VA, I've been in this industry for 10 and a half years. Okay. 11 years come May. Okay. Hey B, what's up? So, I've been with 2 VA agencies in all that time. Basically 2 clients. Diba? You know how that looks on my resume? Ang bango. Diba? It looks good, right? Kahit nung nasa call center pa ako, and I spent like 11 years sa call center industry. In 11 years, I had like 3 call centers. That's it. Yeah. Because when the going gets rough, I'm still there. Okay? Pag may bagyo, pag may tornado, pag may I'm still there. I like talagang I want to know the job when it's hard. I want to know the job when it's easy. 'Di ba? But I am there. What I hate to see, and I see too much of it, is yung mga hopper. 'Di ba? Na parang 8 months dito, 5 months dito, 6 months dito, 2 months dito. If that's your whole career, like honestly, I wouldn't put it. Yung mga 2 months, 6 months, mga ganon, sa totoo lang, if may experience kayo na over 1 year, yun yung pinakamaganda ilagay ninyo. Kasi yung mga 2 months, 6 months, 8 months, tapos umabot ng 7 pages yung resume, sa dami ng trabaho, it does not look good. It doesn't look good at all. So kung if you chose to put your 15,000 jobs on your resume, maghanda kayo na tanungin kayo, bakit ang dami nyong trabaho? Okay, nasa gitna pa lang tayo ng structured interview, ha? Hindi pa ito yung pinakamahirap na part, ha? And this is like general. So whether you're applying for a web developer role or designer role or illustrator or whatever video editor, whatever role, like the structured interview always, usually follows kind of the same pattern. Okay? Ito pa lang yung second part. Hindi pa siya pinakamahirap na part. Okay? That's coming up. Okay. So, whatever is on your resume. My last job was for 5 years. There. So very simple. I wouldn't have left, but they decided to retire. That's excellent answer. Okay. So no choice. You can say, well, I love the client. I would have stayed with the client, but, they wanted to retire. They didn't want to be in business anymore. Perfect answer. My first call center, I was there for 4.5 years. Diba? So when they asked me, so why did you leave? You were there 4.5 years. I said, that was the contract. That was it. They sold the account to another company. So I stayed until the last day, until they closed the doors. Why didn't you move with them to? I was like, it's too far. Masyado malayo. Diba? Okay pa rin. Kasi 4.5 years ako, tinapos ko yung kontrata ko. Diba? So that's a great answer. So sa mga hopper na you have like 15,000 jobs listed on your resume. By the way, your resume should only be 2 pages long. Even if you're applying for COO role or OM role, 'di ba? Hindi dapat umabot na 7 pages yung resume ninyo. Ano ba ina-applyan nyo? Bakit? Are you like a scientist who has like, scientific papers, scientific journals on your resume? If you're not, the 7-page resume is a no-no. Your resume at the most should be 2 pages. Tapos. Diba? So, kasi yung mga tao na mga scientists, diba? Yung mga researcher, yung mga PhD, yung mga ganyan, they will have a resume that's maybe like 10 pages. Because, they've written books. That's their job. They write books on the dissertation of the blah, 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 of the blah, blah, blah. Yun yung mga tao na mahaba yung mga resume. Si Miriam Defensor Santiago, God rest her soul. Okay? Can you imagine how long her resume is? Right? That's somebody who needs to have that kind of resume. But you, okay, if you have 15,000 jobs, choose the ones that you were there the longest, and those are the ones you put in there. Okay? Ngayon, kung there's a problem with freelancers. Kasi mga freelancer na project-based. Like, so for example, one of the things that I started doing late last year was voiceovers and voice acting. And that's usually like project-based. Diba? Ilagay nyo sa resume nyo kapag project-based. Hi, Neva. Pag project-based. Are you a DJ before? No. Kim was a DJ before? No. But I do voiceovers, voice acting, that kind of thing. Pinag-iisipan ko kung gagawa ko ng like meditation, YouTube channel. May naisip nga akong title, like, Meditation for the Depressed, Outcast, Exploited, and Just Plain Broke. Di ba? Parang meditation. Anyway, so ayan. So maghanda kayo. Natatanungin kayo, what's on your resume? Diba? Kung mabango yung resume nyo, like for example, you're in the call center industry 5 years, you stayed with one company. Ganda yun. Hey, Battle Rap, what's up? So, maghanda kayo. Does anyone have issues with their resume right now? Whose resume is like 5 pages or more? Thank you, Jim. Can you choose VA as your starting job as a fresh grad? That depends, like what you're applying for. Why would anyone want to hire you if you'll jump ship any time it gets rough? Exactly. What qualities or skills should you say if you don't have experience but have taken courses? You don't have experience, so why would you lie? Saan po mapapakinggan ang podcast? So I have a podcast here every Saturday, 12 a.m. It's called the Ballsy Podcast, and I think this week I'll be discussing the video resume. So if you guys want to show up for that's regular every Saturday. Itong Tuesday for February lang. 'Di ba? Kasi Feb EP, I'm giving back. I kind of reached like 5,000 followers last month, so this is my way of giving back. When I have time, you are live. I'll really stay here to hear your topic. Yep. Bakit 5 pages? Ano ba yung ano bang niche mo? So dito basta Saturday. Just gonna go through a few of the questions. I have recruitment experience. Do I qualify for VA positions? Yes, may mga HR specialist posts if you want to stay in HR. What if fresh grad po na malayo ang course sa ina-applyan? Why would you apply for another course that you didn't study? What if you have just 1 year? Then put in 1 year. You can apply if the employment requires without experience. Yes, that's true. I'm considering changing careers from first responder to a VA. What do I say if they ask me? You might qualify as like a medical VA. You might try that. Yung Hello Raish, maganda yung rate nila. I think, pero yung training hindi na ata paid. So you should search Hello Raish. So hello and then R-A, parang Rachel na walang L. Okay. Hello Raish. You should try that. Mua Dits. Baka mag-qualify ka sa medical VA. Can I ask the interview po if what's wrong with my answers kapag lumigwak? If they care about you, they will answer. Kaso ang problema is yung ibang, for example, VA agency, so daan-daan libo-libo ang nag-a-apply doon. 'Di ba? Tapos yung nirereklamo ng ibang applicants is hindi sumasagot sa akin. Kasi nga daan-daan libo-libo nag-a-apply. They don't have time to reply manually to every single person that has a question. But, you can try. That might change your interviewers. If you have their email, then email them after the interview to ask for feedback. The fact that you want feedback, that's already a good sign for me. What if no experience but took training regarding the skills they need? You don't have experience, so you have to put that. No, wala kang experience, but, you took training. Yes, because most of the employers ask the SSS history, then they'll find out that you're a liar. Hindi lahat ng the clients don't have time to do background checks. It's rare to find loyal employees. Yeah, very rare. Yung pinakamatagal nakita ko sa resume is like 11 years sa isang employer. And I was very impressed. Kasi, pag nakita ko yon, I know that you're loyal. 'Di ba? Na pag nahirapan ka sa trabaho mo, like hindi ka yung I wanna quit, I can't handle it. Hindi ka magiging ganong klaseng tao. Just asking lang po, what if you're terminated? Paano nyo po i-construct po sa why did you leave? So that's complicated. So I don't know why you were terminated. Syempre, like if I'm in a group interview, it's an initial interview, I would never bring up that I was terminated unless the interviewer asked. What you should do if you were terminated, in the first place, if you were terminated and you put that on your resume, like you probably wouldn't be in my interview. I would either isosolo kita na interview or magtatanong ako sa email like, so why were you terminated? Because that's a complicated topic. Okay? You can't answer that easily. My friend asked, katabi ko, what? Every time I apply for work, they always highlight loyalty. Loyalty, you know what? If on your resume it's proven to be loyal and you're proven to be loyal and you're not employed, I would say, tapos maayos ka sumagot sa interview, I would say 60% you're in. Depending on what is the job and if they need experience or not. What qualities or skills should you say if you don't have experience but you've taken courses? Just be professional, honest. Tsaka, yung mga ganyan, nagtatanong ng ganyan, yung mga nag-a-apply sa trabaho na kailangan yung experience, but you actually have no experience. So, wag ka mag-apply sa mga trabaho that they require people who have experience. Apply for jobs where they're looking for people who have no experience. Because, pag humarap ka sa interview, okay, nakalagay sa job ad, please do not apply unless you have 2 to 3 years experience. Tapos binigyan ka ngayon ng behavioral situation. Anong sasagutin mo? Doon ka mahuhuli. you're going to feel bad, but in the first place, it's your fault because you lied. Okay, and then the interviewer catches you out lying. And I've done that. 'Di ba? Yung nagsinungaling sa akin about a media buyer post. Yeah, I mean, I understand you want the job. It pays $1,800 a month. But, you know, I give you a behavioral situation. Hindi mo sinagot na maayos. Bakit? Because you have no experience. You have no idea what to do. We have 60 active clients that need Facebook ads done. And I'm going to put you in that role where we've had clients for 5 years. Those, wala ka pa talagang experience as Facebook ads, nagsinungaling ka lang sa resume mo para makuha mo yung trabaho na $1,800 a month. Mahuhuli ka niyan. And you don't have to list, you don't have any skills, okay? You don't have any experience. You have training. That's it. That's what you have. Okay? If you've tried anything on your own, like for example, LinkedIn ads, sinubukan mo sa sarili mong LinkedIn profile, or LinkedIn content marketing, sinubukan mo sa LinkedIn account mo mismo kasi wala ka pang client eh, 'di ba? Then list the results that you're getting. Get some screenshots, list the results. What else? ASMR. No, I don't want to do that. 5 pages ang resume. Bakit? May required typing speed. Depende. Depende kung ano yung ano. Ano yung ina-applyan mo. Asking for my friend, what if may issue daw po sa performance? So you're assuming that I know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. That doesn't have enough details. Obama masyado malaki font size mo. Jokes. Hey Poi, what's up? Hi Po, I don't have experience yet, but I have an interview coming up. Sana makapasa. Yeah. Listen. Active listening. Okay. May required typing speed po. That depends on the role. What I understand, I should present the longest company I stayed po sa Resh. Yung mga mahahaba mong experience. If your experience, if you're like a Gen Z, okay, so you're 21, 22, 23. If you have experiences like 6 months, para sa akin, okay lang yun. Pero wag mo ilagay yung mga 2 months, 3 months. Tanggalin mo yung mayon. 6 months, 1 year, right? If you're like really young in the employment industry, like you haven't been working that long, let's say we're in a call center for 6 months to 1 year, ako okay na sa akin. Pero if let's say you're 35, tapos yung mga trabaho mo puro mga ganun, 6 months, 1 year, 8 months, 2 months, it doesn't look good. Parang hirap mag-reason out kapag terminated. Someone asking how to enlighten to tell. Well, I don't know the details of the termination. Okay? It's a very complicated topic. There's no general answer for termination. I'm that person. I'm loyal to the company I work for. Yeah, that's a good thing to say. I am that person. I'm loyal to the last company I work for. Unfortunately, they closed during the pandemic. Yeah. So magandang sagot yan. Okay? Is it bad po ba ang reason for resignation is pay dispute? I only stayed with the company for months. That's what I was saying. Na those months lang, like 5 months, why? There's a pay dispute. Okay. So, when there's a pay dispute na nagkamali lang naman, magre-resign ka. If it was me, I'd be like, no, not the right fit, not loyal, has no staying power, is not consistent. When the going gets rough, you fuck off. That's what it means. What clients and employers and VA agencies want to see is when the going gets rough, you roll up your sleeves and you get in there. You try to solve the problem. That's what they want to see. 'Di ba? Ngayon, yung parang nahirapan ka lang ng konti and then umalis ka na, like, and then you fuck off, like, who wants to work with that? Even in a relationship, do you want to
be in a relationship with a girl who's like, oh my God, but yung kotse mo ganito, bakit ganito, ganyan, ganyan. And then she breaks up with you because your car is old, is like 8 years old. Is is that a good thing? It's kind of the same banana, right? Sobrang babaw yung reason. Ngayon, if you were illegally suspended by the company, that might be a reason to resign. 'Di ba? Pero yung tipong, kasi work from home, wala akong social life eh. Like, you really want to sit in front of an interviewer and say that's why you resigned. What if the pay dispute was just a mistake? Somebody made a mistake in accounting. Did you bother to find that out? Where can we apply ng VA? Marami po. You just have to Google it. GMT. Diba? Google mo tanga. I'm not saying tanga ka. Ano lang. Meme lang namin yun dito. GMT. Google mo tanga. What if bilang media buyer pero pangit po naging experience? Lobat na po ako. What time uli itong video tomorrow? It's not tomorrow. It's only every Tuesday. What if the reason somebody changed jobs because of 1, contractual, 2, health reasons, 3, career growth valid? So there's not enough details for contractual, health reasons, or career growth. Like, there's no general answer for that. Family health reasons, like what reasons? There's not enough details for that. I need to take care of my dad at home because he's sick. That's why I resigned. And you're applying for work from home. Pero yung huling niresignan mo ba is work from home? So the reason doesn't make sense. Nag-apply po ako, nag-resign po ako sa last work ko. Ano ba yung last work mo? Work from home. Okay. Work from home? So why did you resign? To look after my dad. Where was your dad? He was at home. Doesn't make any sense. Right? Pag-isipan nyo muna yung mga magiging sagot nyo and based on your resume. So I can tell right here with all the comments that there's a lot of people here with issues with their resume. Okay? If work mo on site and then you decided to resign because you need to take care of your dad, blah, blah, I mean, that's probably fine. Multiple dispute kasi like 3 to 4 times. Well, that's kind of your decision. I was asked kanina din, ma'am, about why did I resign. Are you ex-BPO employee po? Yes po, 11 years. It's work on-site. Okay, wala po palang nakaschedule for this day na interview niyo, ma'am. Wala, natakot silang lahat, Neva. Joke. Next week, baka may mag-schedule ng simulation interview. Ang hirap ng mga exam sa assessment. They're supposed to be hard. If you don't want to do anything hard, then go watch Netflix. That's not hard to do. Yeah. So an interview is not a pleasant situation. It's not supposed to be. Diba? There are just situations in our lives na hindi sila masaya. Okay. Like resigning, getting terminated, an interview, that's stressful, competition. Diba? Yung mga lumalaban sa Olympics, you think they're all relaxed? They're not. They're very stressed. Okay. I'm an amateur boxer. Can you imagine the first time I was about to step into the ring? That is like the height of stress. Diba? Tapos yung unang boxing match ko pa was amateur. So marami kayo. Like nakalinya kayo. There's like 200 fights that day or 250. Tapos yung nauna pa sa akin na fight na dalawang lalaki, tapos blue corner ako, na knock-out yung nasa blue corner yung nauna sa akin. Diba? Tapos naka-ready ako. I'm waiting to step into the ring and I'm looking at this guy who's knocked out. Right? And I'm thinking, that could be me. So, if you're going in for an interview, ihanda mo yung sarili mo, utak mo, puso mo, katawan mo. I-expect mo that it's not gonna be easy. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be stressful. Okay? There are just situations that are stressful. Kung ayaw mo na stressful, edi wag ka mag-apply. Okay? Stay at home, where it's safe. Stay in your bedroom, go to bed. Okay? That's my advice. So, we're in that part of the interview where structured interview pa lang to, structured. Tinatanong ko ka about what's on your resume. Okay? So, you should be aware, look at your resume tonight. Dami ko natutunan. Magna-notes at nire-record ko tong ibang part. There's a recording of this naturally. You can actually go to the live center. You might find the recording. I'll put it on my YouTube channel. So people who want to follow me on YouTube, still the same under the VA interviewer. May mga VA tips doon, mga ganyan. Tapos yung ibang recordings of, my previous podcast, the Ballsy podcast. Nakakatuwa yung iba. Okay, ayun. So, look at your resume tonight and, tignan nyo, may access ba ako sa live center? Hindi ko alam eh. I haven't tried to access somebody else's. But I do see like the recordings and stuff. So, I'll try it a little later on. So, ayun, tignan nyo yung resume ninyo. If you have like 15,000, 20,000 jobs, do something about it. Diba? Kung resume nyo is 5 pages long, it shouldn't be. Unless PhD kayo na nagsusulat kayo ng mga scientific journal, mga ganyan. Diba? Marami kayong mga dissertation. Diba? Thank you, Mukbang. Love you so much, dude. Ayan. So, follow po kayo kay Mukbang with JD. He's an influencer. He has excellent videos. My God. Ang gaganda ng mga videos. So, mukbang, that's what he does is, he mukbangs. Is that a word? Ayan. So, look at your resume, fix it. Fix your resume. Okay? The resume itself is another topic altogether. I did a series about the resume last year. Hey, Heine, what's up? Last year. And then this Saturday, I'm going to do my topic for my podcast is going to be the video resume. Okay. Who has a video resume and who does not? I'm guessing most of you do not. If you don't, you should have one. Kasi that's, in the States, in Europe, in most foreign countries, like they've been using video resumes since, I don't know, 2019, 2018. Yeah, tignan mo yung resume mo. Okay? Yung video resume, hindi yung hinarap mo lang yung, hello, my name is Neva, and I'm applying to your company. Hindi ganon. Okay? Hindi ganon yung mga video resume ngayon. I'm going to show you my video resume when I do my next set of videos. Okay? Nag-send 15 proposals on Upwork. Wala man lang isa nag-feedback. As a voice actor, I sent like 70, close to 70 proposals on Upwork before I got any work. Ganyan talaga. Ang dami-dami gusto mag-work from home, so marami kang kalaban. And depending on your skill set. Yeah, take some notes. You're taking notes? Oh my God. Cover letter. Cover letter is not really necessary unless you're applying for a job that is very dependent on your written English. Kasi gusto nila makita, like, a sample of your written English. Pero dapat may portfolio ka kasi. Yun ba yun sa LinkedIn? Miss, can you do a quick sample for a video resume? I have one. So I'll be doing a video on that. I don't know if I'll do it tonight or basta within this week. Tapos yun yung topic for my podcast on Saturday, which starts at 12 a.m. Philippine time if you want to show up for that. Na-encounter ko ata yun sa LinkedIn marketing, ma'am. Yes! Inaaral mo yun? Never. Nakakatawa, di ba? Tsaka hindi ganun katagal. Yung training sa LinkedIn marketing, I love that training. And then LinkedIn ads is something else. So, ayan. So, guys, look at your resumes tonight. Okay? How many jobs do you have on there? How many pages is it? Okay, is it clean? Diba? But honestly, the interviewer, they have like 10 seconds. If they're looking at resumes all day, let's say they're looking at 2,000 resumes in one day, they have maybe 5 to 10 seconds to look at your resume. So your resume should be as clean as possible. Diba? Direct to the point, and yung sa LinkedIn Learning. Are you working for an agency? Not anymore. Okay. I resigned in October of last year. Ayan. Marami pong agency. Search nyo lang. Ayan. So, that's kind of the second part of a structured interview. You're going to be asked about your resume. Yung mga naglalagay sa resume na mga married, yung mga weight ninyo, mga ganyan, like, honestly, interviewers don't read it. Yung religion, leave it all off. And you don't need to put a picture with your resume. If you have a video resume, there's no need for you to put a picture. Okay? Kahit sing ganda mo pa si Catriona Gray, like, who cares? Unless you're applying as a model, then maybe it's important. I mean, it's important if you're a model na may itsura ka. But as a media buyer or web developer, like, who cares? Right? Ayan. What's the next part of a structured interview? This is the hardest part of a structured interview. So listen up. Okay. The behavioral assessment. Do you need to put your educational background? Yes. Okay. The behavioral assessment or the behavioral part or the behavioral questions in the interview are the hardest part of the interview. Why? Kasi nga behavioral. So ngayon, yung mga nilista mo na experience and skills, itetest na. Okay. How do I do that? So I'll give you an example. If I'm interviewing a media buyer, let's say, and then the media buyer has put their experience as 5 years experience in, Facebook ads, and then 1 year experience in LinkedIn ads, 2 years experience in Google ads. Okay. So I'll give them a situation. I'll say, okay, excellent. So what are the areas of Facebook ads that you've handled? Oh, I've handled lead generation as well as brand awareness. Then I also did conversion ads for, and then I'll ask for what niches. Oh, there was a cabinet company, and then there was a real estate client that I had. I did the lead gen for them, blah, blah, blah. So now I'll ask the behavioral question, and that's how I will know that they know what the fuck they're doing. Okay? That the experience is real. Okay? And dito nahuhuli yung mga nagfe-fake it. Okay? I don't believe in fake it till you make it. I believe that you fake it because you're fake. At dito ka mahuhuli sa behavioral assessment. So I will say to the media buyer, let's say, so my client, he has like 60 active clients in biotech. Okay, so all our clients are in biotechnology. And usually leads are not a problem for them. However, conversion is. Let's say I needed you to run conversion campaigns we give you, let's say, 10 of those clients in your first 2 weeks. Okay. Some of those clients we've had for 5 years. We've been running Facebook ads, we've been running Google ads for them and LinkedIn ads for them for 5 years. On day 1, what is your plan of action for those 10 clients that we've been running LinkedIn ads and Google ads for 5 years? That's a behavioral question. Pag wala kang experience, puro training ka lang, will you know what to do? Kung nag-training ka lang sa Facebook ads, alam mo kung anong gagawin mo? What are you going to do? Are you going to try to bullshit? Most people who have no experience, now they try to bullshit. And can the interviewer tell? Yes. I can tell. And I'm not even a media buyer, but I can, like, my bullshit meter is up here. I can tell when you're bullshitting. Diba? If you have no business applying for the job ad, don't apply for it. Okay. Behavioral questions sa mga EA. Sino mga nag-a-apply as EA? Sino nag-apply ng Athena or client says EA? General VA. Mga ganun. Okay. So here's a sample of a behavioral assessment question if you're an EA. Executive assistant. Paano mag-influence sa English? Go to YouTube. There's lots of courses there. Free pa, basta may internet. EA, executive assistant. Okay. So parang secretary, parang ganon. Yes, that's right, Neva. For an EA or general VA, GVA, I'll ask this question. Let's say I'm the client. Okay. You are in charge of email management and managing my calendar. So email management, calendar management, very common responsibilities for an EA, for an executive assistant or a general virtual assistant, right? So you come in, okay, you come in at 8 o'clock Central Time. I have a meeting at 9. I'm the client. You have to be in on my meeting at 9 o'clock. You go into my email inbox, there's 2,000 emails that you need to go through. How will you handle it so that you get through the important emails? There's maybe like 200 important emails. Okay? How will you sort through those emails and still make it to my meeting by 9 a.m.? That's a behavioral for EAs and GVAs. There's a local female coach that sells media buyer course, encourages fake it till you make it. So that's a topic all on its own. Okay. So, and I'll tell you the story of yung nahuli ko na galing dyan. Tapos yung binayad niya sa course niya daw is 100,000. Tapos nahuli ko siya na wala siyang experience. Diba? Can't do that. So you gave up. Okay. So you gave up. So yeah. So these are examples of behavioral questions. What will you do? Ngayon, tinetest na yung ano mo, yung your ability, your experience, like what you know. For example, for the EA question, you don't have to have experience for that. Right? You just have to use your smarts. Diba? Neva, sagutin mo yan. Okay. Label them by most urgent to least, then by importance. Kasi kung EA ka, okay, hindi mo ile-label yan on that day. It's not your first day with a client. Okay? If naka-segment na yung mga emails ng client, ang gagawin mo na lang, ima-mark mo, is a star mo siya. Diba? That'll take you 10 minutes. That's it. So the behavioral part of the interview is where most people bumabagsak. Okay? It's gonna, if you're claiming to have skills and experience, dun matetest yun. And a good interviewer can tell if you are bullshitting or not. Kasi yung ibang roles, like, so for, ano yung mga VA roles that need a portfolio? Web developer, designer, yung mga tao na nagpo-produce. Diba? Nagpo-produce ng logo, yung mga ganyan. If you're an appointment setter, you shouldn't have a portfolio. How are you going to have a portfolio? You make calls. If you're an EA, if part of your job is, writer, there you go, SEO writer, content writer, possibly media buyer if papayag yung client mo na palagay yung ginawa mo na ad with the graphic and the ad copy into your portfolio with the permission of your client, yun yung mga dapat may portfolio. Pero hindi lahat ng trabaho may portfolio. Do you get it? Right? So, for example, how do I do a behavioral question or assessment for a designer? I look at their portfolio. Kasi yung designer, so it's like you're producing art on demand. Diba? Paano gumawa ng portfolio as appointment setter? How are you going to have a portfolio as appointment setter? You're doing calls. How are you going to do that? An appointment setter with a portfolio is an idiot. If you tell me I'm applying for appointment setter role, here's my portfolio, I'll be like, you don't know what an appointment setter is. Like, bye. Di ka bagay sa role. Okay. Yung mga dapat may portfolio, yung mga designer, mga write, yung mga nagpo-produce ng like work that you can actually see. 'Di ba? Like, yung mga web developer, yun. Kasi nakikita mo yung website eh. That's why I asked, what are some links for websites that you've worked on? Right? Stuff that I can actually see. Yun yung behavioral part. Kaya if you're an experienced designer, dev, and you have your portfolio, yung assessment, yung behavioral part, it's not gonna be that hard for you. Kasi nandun na eh. Like, you just have to show it to me. I might have some questions about your work. 'Di ba? I'll have questions for you about what tools you use and how you upgrade yourself and how you upskill. 'Di ba? And how do you deal with a client, for example? Okay, so here's a typical behavioral question that sino yan, Franz? Umakit ka mamaya. Hi, AJ. So here's a typical question that I have for a designer. Okay. Kasi yung mga designer, mga dev, mga mahihiyain yan, karamihan. Okay? Except si Ambo. Kung hindi nyo sinusundan si Ambo, you should. He's a really good designer here on TikTok. Medyo mahihiyain yan. So, communication for them is usually a big problem, is one of their issues. And I asked them, so let's say we have a client in the marketing agency na si client ang gumawa ng sarili niyang logo. Okay. Ngayon, the agency is recommending na palitan mo yung logo mo kasi walang kwenta. Kasi si client hindi naman designer. So yung logo niya is mukhang caterpillar na ginanon. 'Di ba? Tapos yung kulay is kulay tae, 'di ba? Parang ganon. So he really needs to change his logo. And that's our recommendation. Right? Kaso, hanapin niyo lang, ano siya, designer. I forgot what his, TikTok, was. So how will you redesign the logo so that it still retains some elements of the original design, but that the client will be happy with? Yan tatanungin ko sa designer. 'Di ba? Ngayon, what is the answer that I want to hear? I want to hear options. Okay. So, from designers, mga devs, mga ganyan, writers, what I want to hear, the golden word is options. Hindi yung gagawa ka lang ng isang design ng logo and that's it. 'Di ba? Ano yan? Siya yung mga tipong designer na isang tanong, isang sagot, isang utos, isang galaw. I don't want to work with somebody like that. The magic word is options. Okay? So if you're a designer and you say, kung ganun po, then what I'll do is I'll take the original design, I'll create 3 to 5 options para may pagpilian si client. See? Same with the dev. Okay, so we'll do like maybe 2 types or 3 types of forms, and then, the client can see which form he likes better, 'di ba? Or ilan yung CTA na gusto niya, mga ganyan. So, you have to, that's the magic word for me. If I hear that. Sa media buyer naman, the magic word, tsaka sa dev, another magic word is testing. A-B testing. Okay? That's what clients want to hear, is the A-B testing. Is you're testing the copy and the graphic before the client spends a ton of money on the ad campaign. Okay. The problem is most media buyers, they don't really test. Like, they don't put a lot of importance on the A-B testing. Lalo na yung mga dev. Email marketing din. Email marketing VAs. Okay. The golden phrase is testing. A-B testing. If you're not saying that in your exactly. Kasi nga, pag namili na ng, ito na yung gagawin natin na campaign, gagastos na si client. The client spends $4,000 and then you didn't fucking test it and it doesn't work. Okay? Do you expect to keep that job? No. I don't interview for data entry position. I don't. It's yung mga general VA and data entry, like I don't interview for those. Like, I've never worked for clients who needed na ganong skill set. And honestly, it's like, how much experience do you need for data entry? It's entering data. That's it. And if you're thinking that that's where you're gonna start, masyadong mababa. You should look at least to be starting as an EA. Sa Athena po, yung VA agency na Athena, okay, they offer 46,000 a month. May laundry allowance pa, may pet allowance. Tapos yung mga VAs nila, registered locally. Kaya hindi lang VA. Now they are, sure mukbang. Now they are employees, hindi lang sila VAs sa Athena. So yung mga, hi girlfriend. What's her name? Yun nakikita ko sa videos mo. Is that her? Ayan. So, yeah. What agency po ang pwede para sa no experience? Athena po. You should try Athena. Yung mga may medical background, kung gusto nyo, if you want to stay in there, I think Hello Raish is probably the best. I mean, I've been hearing good reviews. Problema is, hindi na nila binabayaran yung training nila. But, yung starting nila ata is like $7 an hour or $7.50. So, pag nag-start ka sa Hello Raish, natapos mo yung training, which is like 2 months. And I don't work for them. This is just what I heard. Okay. 61,000 kakagad. I tried. Yung spec ng lapi ko dito mataas. Okay. So, sa Athena, 46,000 sila per month. Plus, may pet allowance, laundry allowance. Plus, babayaran nila yung mga government benefits mo, pag-ibig, SSS mo. If you're lucky to get in. So, medyo matindi yung, mataas yung standards ng Athena ngayon. MedVA din po, HVA. Ayan. So if you're a MedVA, then, comment, and then people might follow you if they have questions for you. If you're from Athena, if you're an EA, people want to be EA, then just put it in the comments. People might want to follow you. Mga VA company na no need ang experience. Athena po. Okay. Si AJ, kanina, si Tycoon VA, he's from Cyberbacker. Although, I know it's a little bit controversial. But you can follow AJ, si Tycoon VA. So just search Tycoon VA and ask him any questions. He does a lot of videos. He's super helpful. What qualifications do you need? I don't know. So you need to go to the website, and check their qualifications. Ano po ayaw nyo na narinig sa interview ng media buyers po? I don't like hearing bullshit. Okay? I don't like hearing promises. So mga SMM, mga media buyer, mga email marketing specialists, don't make promises that you can't keep. Okay? Don't tell me, I grew my last client's following to 10,000 followers in 3 weeks on TikTok. Without buying? Without using promote? Don't make promises. I hate hearing promises, honestly. I hate it. Because I know that you can't do it. Hi Dylan, what's up? Meron po kayang agency na tumatanggap ng FB ad specialist na wala pang experience. Because FB ads, honestly, it's not a skill set that I would hire somebody with no experience. Because there's money involved. They may ad spend. So I would never hire, honestly, for my client or a VA agency where you have to do the. Kasi if you want to do FB ads and you have no experience, it's very risky because gagamitin mo yung pera ni client. And halimbawa, pinapahandle sa yung mga clients na matagal na. And you have no experience. Maybe you should sign up as para sa internship. Right? Because, you spend $4,000 of the client's money and walang results yung campaigns mo. Kasi hindi ka marunong, you can't do lookalike audiences, you don't know how to do that yet. Or yung pag you put together the demographics, medyo palpak. because you have no experience. It's the kind of skill that you get better with experience. And no one is going to risk losing a lot of money just because the client can lose a lot of money because you don't have experience. Wala na ako sa cold calling, niligwak ako, oy, Nelay, anyari? You're too straight. What do you mean straight? I'm not gay. I have nothing against gay people, but I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Honestly want to know how and where to start. Go to YouTube. GMT. Google. Straightforward. How about an SEO specialist? What sort of SEO? Technical SEO? What sort of SEO? I'm a total noob at this. Well, everyone starts somewhere. Malaki-laking pera, pwede masayang. Exactly. That's what happens. If you apply for a job you're not qualified for, and then they put you in that role, okay, and then you make a mistake, because you are guaranteed to make mistakes if you have no experience. And then what are you going to do? Let's say nilustay mo $5,000 of the client's money. Hindi nga mabawi sa iyo ng client eh. Hindi ka ba makakonsensya? And you know what? Because you took that job, you lied about your experience, you robbed somebody else of the job that they're qualified for. That job should have gone to somebody else who has the right experience, the right qualifications. But you stole it from them. Hindi ka ba nakakonsensya nun? That's why I say be honest, professional, honest. Okay? Straight 4 days naging top agent pero isang dutihan lang nawalay nurture, sa next day walay na. Well, you know, that's the reality about being a VA or freelancer. You're stepping into a career that has no stability whatsoever. Guess mas maganda mag-apply sa startup company. Fake it till you make it. Yeah. You fake it because you're fake. And now you cost the client money. And now, because of that, let's say start up yung client mo, $5,000, $4,000, even $1,000 is a lot of money to lose for a startup company. Yung matindi doon, yung nilustay mo is hindi pera ng client mo, pera ng client mo. Diba? That's even worse. Kailangan po magaling mag-English or very fluent mag-English, mag-apply bilang VA. If you're wanting to do cold calls, appointment setting, your communication skills need to be pretty good. May na-experience na kayong ganyan na hindi marunong tas natanggap kasi nag-fake it sa interview. Not on my watch. Okay, because my bullshit meter is pretty good. But I've had so I had an interview. I interviewed this guy. So yung boss ko before, yung client ko before, yung niresignan ko last year. He put hindi ko alam ah. I'm his director of operations. He didn't tell me. Naglagay siya ng job ad for a media buyer on onlinejobs.ph, and he was offering $1,800 a month. Hi, Arrow. What's up? What's up? I hope you're feeling better. So, he put out a job ad. So, syempre, may mga nag-a-apply. Tapos, through the automation software, nakita ko, may mga nag-a-apply na for a media buyer. And I was like, did you put out a job ad? I asked the client, and he was like, yeah. So, now I know that I have to interview people who are applying for the media buyer role. So, yung sa job ad niya, nilagay niya, we're looking for a media buyer, blah, 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 with experience in, you know, gantong klaseng campaigns, lead generation, conversion, traffic, blah, blah. Oh, ano ba ulam masarap? Share. So, ayan. And nilagay niya dun sa job ad in bold letters, capital letters, uppercase. Do not apply if you have less than 2 to 3 years of experience in Facebook ads. Okay? So, dapat, kung mag-apply ka, assume na you have 2 to 3 years experience of Facebook ads. There's this guy who applied. It looked on his resume. He made it look like on his resume na meron siyang experience. That he ticked all the boxes. So, syempre, I toggled right. So, 'di ba, yung automation for, please schedule your interview with me, blah blah. So, he got the email, he scheduled his interview with me, and then now we're in the Zoom call. It's not a group interview, it's a one-on-one. Okay. So, the typical, and first impressions were good because his communication skills, his English is excellent. Okay. Tapos yung trabaho niya before was nasa gobyerno. Parang sales something. Okay. Hindi ko maalala kung anong department sa gobyerno. Basta marami siyang experience sa local government. Maybe like 8 years. Parang ganon. Tapos nag-aral siya ng Facebook ads for e-com. Hi Justin, what's up? So, nag-aral siya ng Facebook ads for e-com. You see all the people that I'm greeting? Like, I remember them. So, if your interviewer has a great memory, yari kayo. Okay. So, nag-aral siya ng FB ads for e-com. Okay. And then he spent, apparently, but I didn't know till nung medyo patapos na interview that that's how much he spent. He spent apparently, sabi niya, 100,000 on the training course for FB ads for e-com. Okay. Tips or advice niyo po, watch my videos. I put a ton of links for free training on my videos last week, so you should watch my videos. So, yun, nag-aral siya ng FB ads e-com. Tapos, meron pa siyang mga sample-sample na campaign. 'Di ba? Dun sa resume niya. Miss ko live mo, coach. On shift ako ngayon. Ah, talaga? Good evening, Meredith. Ayan. So, when I interviewed him, we went through the usual structured interview, like, opener, questions based on his resume, and then now we're on the behavioral part of the interview. And then I asked, hindi. Nung second part pa lang, yung sa interview niya, yung sa resume niya, tinanong ko about yung mga screenshot niya, which is his proof that he's actually done FB ads campaigns. Doon pa lang, medyo tumatagilid na siya. Okay. And he's kind of an older guy. He was like, I think maybe around 36. I want to say, may experience na siya working sa local government, and he's done sales, so magaling magsalita, 'di ba? Mabilis mag-isip. Yun yung mga challenging sa interview. Ang galing magsalita, magaling mag-isip, marunong magpaikot-ikot. Okay. So, I asked him about the screenshots. I said, okay, so tell me about the campaigns that you had on your resume. Like, tell me about the companies they were for, how long you ran the campaign, what kind of campaign, what was, how much you spent, and what were the results, right? So, he couldn't really explain. Kasi, doon ko na tiktikan na parang, okay, so, now he's kind of stuttering, which is a huge difference from what he was like at the start of the interview. Kasi when he was talking about his experience sa local government tsaka sa sales, like tuloy-tuloy siya magsalita, right? Now he's stuttering, he's kind of stumbling, he's making up, like, if there's too many details in a story, it's probably not true. And they kind of don't make sense when you put them together, right? So I was getting that impression that these FB ad campaigns, like, they're not his. Hindi sa kanya yung proof of concept on his resume. And then I asked him point blank, I said, what's the longest campaign that you've run by yourself? Sabi niya, 16 hours. I asked him, is that for an international client or a local client? For a local client. His friend. Okay. So, umamin din siya. Okay. Umamin din siya that yung proof of concept niya, he doesn't, like, he can't explain it, what's on his resume. So, it's not his. Okay. And then I said, so, based on yung sagot niya that sabi niya 16 hours yung pinakamahaba niyang campaign na pinatakbo and blah blah blah. So sabi ko, binigyan ko siya ng behavioral na question. Sabi ko, so my client has 60 active clients in this industry, in this niche. Some of those clients we've been running Facebook ads for 5 years. If we accept you for this job, sa first day mo, bibigyan ka ng client ko ng 20 clients. Boom. The longest campaign you run is 16 hours. We've been running Facebook ads for these clients for 5 years. Give me your plan of action in your first week from day 1 to day 2. Let's say from day 1 to day 5. I know, right? Kasi nga local, simple, and he doesn't know what to do, right? It's a newbie. This is a complete newbie, right? And then he couldn't tell me what to do, right? He couldn't tell me what he was going to do on day 1. He was like, well, I think that I will ask questions. Mga ganyan. We're not paying you to ask questions. We're paying you $1,800 a month to know how to do Facebook ads. Okay? And then, naiirita na siya. I can tell that he's starting to get irritated because siguro hindi siya sanay na he's put in this position where he's very uncomfortable. Because he doesn't know what to do. Ganyan na mangyayari sa inyo kapag maayos yung interviewer nyo and naaalala lahat ng sinasabi ninyo and then they give you a behavioral question. A behavioral assessment question. Bandang huli, sabi niya sa akin, well, you know, when I took my course, they told me just to act confident and I will get the job. Yan ang tinuturo. That's what they taught him for 100,000 pesos. Be confident, you'll get the job. Not at this company. Diniretso ko siya, sabi ko, we're not gonna pay you $1,500 a month just to be confident. Tinanong ko sa kanya, did you read the job ad? The job ad says, please do not apply if you do not have at least 2 to 3 years experience in Facebook ads and Google ads. And you know what he did? He dropped out of the Zoom. Umalis siya sa Zoom. Kasi ganyan ang mangyayari sa inyo sa mga nagfe-fake it, whatever shit. Kung maayos yung interviewer ninyo. And hindi ka pa nakakonsent, like you're so fucking greedy, you think that just taking a course is, and I understand you need to kailangan bawiin mo yung ginastos mo sa course mo, but like, hindi mo mababawi yon in your first month. Diba? Hindi mo mababawi yon in your first month. That job ad is designed for people with experience. Can you also tell the difference if talagang kinakabahan ng applicant or bullshitting sa interview? I can definitely tell if they're bullshitting. If kinakabahan sila, well, ina-assume ko lahat kinakabahan. Like, I've had interviews, ako kinabahan ako, so it's just a natural reaction. You should expect it. Wag mo isipin na option na hindi kabahan sa interview. It's not an option. Talagang mangyayari, kakabahan ka talaga. Is it okay to apply or try being a VA without any work experience? Yeah, you can try, but you're not going to get paid a lot of money. You'll be lucky if a client offers you $1.50 or $2 an hour. May nakita akong magbabayad sa kanya, then diretso na daw, no interview. What do you mean magbabayad sa kanya? Confident dapat with enough knowledge for the job. With the experience, sundin mo yung nasa job ad, diba? Kung hindi ka pasok, huwag ka mag-apply. Have you ever accepted a newbie because of his or her good behavior? Yes. I'd always tell interviewers what I can and can't. Normal kabahan. I-expect na mga kakabahan ka. Hindi ko alam kung paano ka nagko-cope sa kaba. Because people cope with kaba or being nervous or stressed in different ways. Okay? How do I cope with stress? Kasi yung kaba sa interview, okay, is nothing compared sa kaba bago ka pumasok ng boxing ring para makipagsuntukan. Okay? So whenever I come across a very stressful situation, I ask myself, is this as bad as that time na bago ako pumasok ng laban, na alam ko na either, kasi isang paa mo nasa hukay na eh, 'di ba? Like, I've there's nothing compared to that. Okay? Nothing compares to it. So, yung kaba sa interview, for me, it's mostly mental. It's not, hindi naman ako susuntukin sa interview, hindi naman ako mabubugbog sa interview, and it's only about 20 minutes. 'Di ba? So, if I'm interviewing for, like, later I have a meeting with a client, like, it's not really an interview because hinahabol-habol ako ng client, but, you know, like, you don't know what's gonna happen. Okay, it's always the same thing. Like, it's like, kinakabahan ka, hindi mo pa alam kung anong tatanungin. There's a lot of unknowns in that situation, 'di ba? And my best advice is learn to embrace the unknown. Learn to be comfortable with chaos. Because you know what? As a VA or freelancer, chaos is gonna be your best friend. Lalo na yung mga client, like, honestly, they're not organized. Karamihan ng clients is not organized. In-expect nyo parang sa call center na parang, oy, may training, may trainer, may TL. TL! Walang ganon po. Your client might not even be there to answer your questions. And the clients, they have like great ideas, but they're not going to tell you how to solve your problem. That's why they hired you as VA, is to solve that problem. Okay? Tapos ikaw magtatanong ka sa client, so, this doesn't work with the landing page with, I don't know how to put the CSS in the blah, 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 blah. Like, that's why the client hired you. So why are you asking the client? I'd always tell interviewers what I can and can't do. Wait, chaos is inevitable. Yeah, learn to embrace chaos. Parang yung bird na phoenix pala mo siya. I love that story. Reinvent yourself. Don't be tied down by labels, diba? I am an appointment setter VA. I am a cold caller VA. No, why can't you be an SEO writer? Diba? Once you have a client, may regular income pumapasok, mag-aral ka uli. Hi po, what websites po okay maghanap ng direct clients? The usual, Upwork, Fiverr, onlinejobs.ph. On my own ka kapag hired ka na. Yep, more or less. Napakaswerte mo if, for example, si client has other VAs na pwede ka magtanong and have already been there, 'di ba? If may other VA si client na, 'di ba, find them. Like, if the client adds you to chat, like, try to look for other people who might have the same job or similar job as you. So, para may mapagtanungan ka. Napakaswerte mo if you're in that position. Sometimes. Unless you're in a team, tapos kayo rin nagko-compete ng mga ka-teammate mo. That's what happened to me with my first client. Diba? So, I'm gonna give you an example of, have I ever hired a newbie with no experience with a good attitude? Yes, I have. So, there was one time, so yung huling VA agency that I resigned from, no nagsisimula pa lang yung VA agency, tumatanggap sila ng VAs with no experience. Pero by referral lang. Mga referral na existing VAs. So, I was interviewing this VA from, I think he was from Baguio at that time. And then, so yung dating, like, so when it was a group interview, and the thing that made him stand out is he looks Korean, but he's not. He's Pinoy. Diba? So, and like he was dressed in a really clean shirt, like white. Diba? So, maputi siya, tapos white yung t-shirt. Like, that really made him stand out for me. Tapos, yung dating niya, like, his aura was sort of quiet. 'Diba? Parang ganon. May itsura siya. Okay. And like he's a guy who's like in his I don't know, maybe at that time he was around 24. Mga ganyan. So, and medyo mahiyain. Like I can tell that already if medyo mahiyain ka. So, in the group interview, sumasagot naman siya. His English is passable. So, out of 10, his English is like 6 out of 10. Okay. He's not super fluent. Tapos meron siyang accent. Very, very Pinoy ang accent. That's not an issue for me. Okay? As long as you make yourself understood and you understand me. The comprehension for me is more important than the accent. Like, I don't care about your freaking accent. Okay? Unless talagang cold caller ka, tapos maarte si client, gusto niya may accent na American, blah. Honestly, for clients who are looking for a VA with an American accent, like, why don't you just hire in the US? Okay? Even I don't have an American accent. I cannot give you that. And then you want to pay $4 an hour, $7 an hour for somebody with an American accent? It's unrealistic. Okay? So comprehension for me in an interview and listening is more important than the fact that you have an accent. And like applicants who try to copy my accent in the interview, that fucking pisses me off. Okay? Don't try to copy my accent. It just makes you look stupid. And it makes me think that you're mocking me. Okay? My accent, I've been talking like this ever since I was like 5 years old. So you're not gonna get my accent in 1 hour. Okay? Kaya wag nyo gayahin yung accent ni client. Kapag in-interview kayo, kasi nagmumukha kayong tanga, you don't sound like the client. And you won't sound like me. Okay? Because this accent is like I've had it for a really long time. There's nothing I can do. I'm gonna die with this accent. Right? So, wag nyo gayahin yung accent ni client. So, yung in-interview ko na VA na yon, let's call him Jay. Okay? Not gonna use his real name. So, itong si Jay is a group interview. He stood out because ang linis niya tignan. Okay? And it's just simple like, t-shirt, very clean t-shirt, and like, I think, clean shaven yung head, yung parang ganon. And then, isang tanong, isang sagot siya. So, if I would ask him, tell me something about yourself, he just, what he told me about himself was, he said he's from Baguio and he's been working for like some car company. I think it was Toyota or something. Toyota Baguio for like almost 10 years. Parang ganon. And that impressed me because when I hear na matagal ka sa isang kumpanya, that will set you apart immediately. Diba? That matters more to me than whether you have an accent or not. Like, I don't care about your freaking accent. Okay? And what I was hiring for was marketing automation. So yung accent is not really an issue. Okay? If you can make yourself understood, ako naintindihan mo, for me that's enough. Okay? Because it's not, hindi ka writer, hindi ka, sales, hindi yun ang hinahire ko. He said he'd been with, I don't know, Toyota Baguio for like, 10 years. And then he said he's still single, but may anak siya na lalaki who's not with him. Parang ganun. Ay, hindi ko alam. I don't know how much his hourly is now. But na-promote siya. Like, before I left, he was like SME. Ewan ko lang kung na-promote na as project manager. Kasi tinutulak ko siya, mag-project manager ka na. Parang ganun. Medyo mahihain yung tao, wala magagawa, diba? So, ganun talaga. So, and he had a son na hindi niya kasama sa Baguio, na, ayun. And then, I was like, okay. And then, when I asked yung medyo mas malalim na questions. So, now we're going to yung mas detailed na questions. And I asked him, why did you apply? So why did you apply here? So why did you apply specifically to this VA agency? And he said, well, I heard that you're offering $5 an hour. And I said, yes, we are. And why is that important for you? And he said, because my job at Toyota Baguio, I'm a clerk, and he makes less than minimum wage. So he doesn't earn like at 15,000 a month. He said, if I make this interview and and you decide to train me, and then you decide to hire me, and I'm making $5 an hour, like that's 40,000 pesos. So malaking difference yun. Sabi niya, with that money, I can see my daughter. Pwede ako bumili ng motor, I'm gonna see my daughter. Pwede na ako magbigay ng, kasi hindi siya masyadong nakaka nakaabot daw siya ng pera dun sa nanay. But it's not regular, parang ganon. Kasi nagbabayad din siya in Baguio for his room and board, mga ganyan-ganyan. So, he said, it's gonna make a difference. It's life-changing for him, the 40,000. And this was like way back. This is like 2018, I want to say, or 2019. Something like that. He said that amount will be life-changing. So what he did was he really painted a picture, right? He was like, that yung, and medyo nagtatagalog siya ng konti. So he was like, if I earn 40,000, that's gonna change my life. That's what he said. He said, I'll be able, makikita ko na yung anak ko. And he's like, plano ko po pumili ng motor. And then I will see my son every weekend. And then maabutan ko na yung nanay niya. I'll be able to pay for his education. And I'll be able to take him on vacation. And, all these things. So, and I asked him, so what happens if you don't get accepted here? Right? Everything, lahat, facial expression, galaw niya, hand movements, everything was telling me that he's being honest. Okay. I already know that he's loyal. He was with Toyota Baguio earning less than minimum wage for almost 10 years. Right? He doesn't have the technical skills we're looking for, but I can tell, is he trainable? Yeah. Is he consistent? Yeah. Okay. So, he was hired. Like, yung interview ko sa kanya siguro took about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. But he knew then, I was like, yeah, okay, I'll approve you for training. Diba? Kaso, baka magka-problema ka sa training kasi panggabi, tapos, diba? So, it's all about, how do you come across to the client? Are you believable? Are you honest? Professional honest, right? What does your resume look like? If his resume was puro pachi-pachi na trabaho, maybe I wouldn't have interviewed him. Diba? But in that 25 minutes, I really got a sense of who he was, who he is, what are his hopes and dreams, what is his goal. Tsaka may plano siya. May plano talaga siya. He was like, okay, if I get accepted here, it's gonna change my life. Then bibili ako ng motor, and this is my goal. I want to see my son every weekend. May plano siya, right? So he was ticking all the boxes. Although, like, yung hinahanap ko na tech skills is not really there. Okay. He's a gamer, but doesn't mean it's gonna make him great at automation, right? So he ticked a lot of the boxes, and some boxes that I didn't expect. So have I hired people based on, but then yung job ad, kasi yung kailangan at the time for that role is, it's not necessary to have experience. Basta trainable, and then pretty good communication skills, and we can tell that you're going to stick with it, stick to the training, mga ganyan-ganyan. Okay. You know where he is right now? You know where that guy is? So, wala na siya sa Baguio. He moved to, I think, La Union or Ilocos or somewhere like that. Tapos, ano na siya? May negosyo na siya. He still works at the VA agency. He still works there. So his last role, as far as I know, when I was still there, na-promote siya as SME. Okay? And he was actually voted most popular SME. Sa parang kick-off party, parang year-end party ng agency. He's the most popular. Sa lagay na yun, di siya masyadong madaldal. Okay. Is it honest but hindi po ba siya considered as a sob story? Nagmakaawa ba siya sa akin? No. Was he like, because I'm not earning enough money, so I'm not able to give my son the life that he did. That's a sob story for me. He didn't tell it that way. He told it to me in a way na plano, right? He was like, if I get hired here, it's gonna change my life. And ito bala ko, with 40,000, I'm gonna buy motor and then I'm gonna. That's not a sob story. That's a aspirational story. Kasi may aspiration, may ambition yung tao. 'Di ba? Like klarong-klaro sa utak niya cuz he's actually telling me, he's painting a picture for me, right? So based on that, I can also tell that he's a positive person. Okay, he's not trying to play on my emotions, right? Like I'm not that dumb. Hello. Okay. I can tell whether you're dinadaan mo ko sa guilt, dinadaan mo ko sa and believe me, I've had people who are like, please accept me. I need this job because my mother's in hospital and blah blah. I've had people na nagmakaawa sa akin. Will I hire them? Probably not. Kasi ayoko yung ginaganon ako di ba? Parang and syempre titignan ko rin yung resume mo. Like I have to piece together a story of who you are in that moment, and that's difficult. That is the job of an interviewer. Who are you? I need to find out who you really are in this like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. So, 'di ba? Kaya nga I am encouraging you guys to listen and be professional honest. Now whether you lie or not, okay? Kung syunga-syunga si interviewer, yeah, you might get away with it. Kung hindi syunga-syunga si interviewer, yari kayo. Yaring-yari kayo. So those are the important parts of a structured interview. Okay? If magpapa-interview kayo sa VA agency, i-expect nyo na yon. Okay? When does it become an unstructured interview? If you are interviewing people, if I'm interviewing somebody na, you want a simulation interview? Next Tuesday tayo, gusto mo? Yes, I need your resume and I need yung job na ina-applyan. DM mo sa akin. And I'll give you some steps. Wais ka, nakinig ka muna ng bago ka sumabang See, yung tao na in-interview ko si Jay, very consistent. See? Like after like a couple of years, nag-ipon-ipon ng pera, he's still working at the VA agency, nagbukas naman ng car wash. Si bakla. See? My first impression of him in 25 minutes na this is a positive person who's just not been given the right breaks, pero may plano. Consistent. See? Over the years, consistent siya. So, like what can you say? And medyo, like it's a very simple, it was so simple, it was easy to hire him. It was just so simple. And sometimes for me, that's how I know, like it's so easy, right? It's so easy to hire this person. They're just a natural fit. I know that they're being honest with me. Okay. Yung unstructured interview, if let's say I'm interviewing somebody who is being interviewed for a promotion. So internal, nag-apply siya, gusto niya maging OM kasi nagkaroon ng opening for OM. For me, that goes to unstructured. Bakit? Hindi ako gagawa ng structured. Kilala ko na siya eh. 'Di ba? Kilala ko siya. So let's say I've been working with this person, they applied internally or they sent their job application internally. So malamang may alam na ako about that person, yung mga baho niya, mga mga ginawa niyang magaganda, mga ganyan. That's gonna be an unstructured interview. If I'm interviewing for a higher management role, like OM, na external yung mga applicants, that might be an unstructured. If I have the feeling na pinapaikot-ikot ako ng aplikante, I'm gonna turn it into an unstructured interview. Well, let's read some of the comments. Nice story. Yeah. May hiring VA po kayo or cold caller that can recommend po? I don't know. Marami, yung mga nag-hire na mga ganyan, usually mga, mga REVA, mga real estate VA agency. Ako loyal din naman. Kaso, iniwan pa din ako. Charot. Thank you for following. Excuse me, guys. It is honest, but hindi po ba siya considered sub-story? Okay, answer that. Neva, just DM me for the simulation interview. Neva, sa simulation, live yon. So, like, right now, there's 63 people in the room. So, there'll be 63 people watching your simulation interview. And it's going to be like a real interview. You have to dress up like it's a real interview. You're going to be asked the same questions like it's a regular interview. Pero may feedback ka at the end. Diba? The more na makaawa, the more lalayo yung loob ng interviewer. Yeah. Don't, like, it's so hard. But, parang yung interviewer, like, you're just turning them off. Like, asiwang-asiwa sila. Kung nagmamaka, please, I need this job, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, but I think it's a no. Yes, it is a no. So, post-hiring ang REVA. Yes, marami pong mga REVA na agency. What do you usually do in the work po? No experience po ako. I'd like to be part of the VA world. Well, what kind of VA do you want to be? And what skills do you have right now that a client will pay for? Diba? And what's really important that whether you've been in the freelancing VA world for a long time, whether you're a Gen X, you're a Gen Z, whether you're 21, 22, 35, 48, remember that what's important is you build your network, you build your relationships. Okay? Kasi makakuha kayo ng trabaho more on relationships than applications. As you can tell, yung nag-submit ng 15 proposals on Upwork. Like, kasi cold application yun eh. 'Di ba? So, hindi ka kilala. Once you've, established yourself a little bit, you've made connections in the industry. Like, for example, right now I don't have a regular client, but I have a client meeting later. Maybe if the offer is right, then I might end up running his marketing agency. So, syempre, yung mga kilala ko na, halimbawa, na nangailangan si bagong client ng UX designer, uy, Raylan, baka available ka full-time. Diba? Or si client, gusto magtayo ng cold calling team. Halimbawa lang, halimbawa. Gusto magtayo ng cold calling team. So they need somebody to head a sales support team. Diba? Uy, Christine, bago gusto maging OM ng sales support team namin, I'm gonna reach out to people that I'm connected to, people that I know. Kaya wag kayo maging user-friendly. Okay? Build your relationships with people. Build your connections. Because at any time, baka bigla kang hugutin. Diba? Uy, diba may experience ka sa e-com. Yung isang client namin naghanap ng e-com, something manager, project manager. Baka gusto mo. See? You will get more work from your connections than from sending in all your applications. So relationships are really important. Okay? Even if the relationships are virtual. And yung mga virtual relationships, hindi siya malalim, 'di ba? But it's worth maintaining. Bakit? Kasi that's where you get your bread and butter. That's where you're gonna get your work. Takot ako, ma'am. Kaso may feeling ako na I need to experience the simulation interview. Sige, gora ka. For experienced ecom VA, is $8 an hour reasonable? I guess. myfreightstaff.ph is hiring. Voice hinahanap nila. Ano yan for sales? Wala po ko skills when it comes to virtual, pero I'm willing to be trained po. Then, find a VA agency that's gonna train you or a client that's gonna train you. Alorica Philippines hiring sila. Okay, so call center. May tanong po about the parts of the interview, of a structured interview. Like yung opener, you might have questions about yung mga common interview questions. Okay, maraming gumagawa ng video about common interview questions. But you know what? You can't memorize answers for interviews. Tsaka, like, I saw this video of a girl and she had written down, to prepare for her interview, she wrote down 100 questions and 100 answers. And she was trying to memorize 100 answers. Do you think you'll be able to remember yung mga sinulat mo? What if yung tinanong sa interview mo, wala dun sa 100 questions mo? Ano po ba structures ng interview? My interview po kasi tomorrow. Okay, so I actually already went through all those. So there's the opener. There's going to be the part where they ask you about, they're going to have questions for you based on your resume and your experience and your skills. And then, typically, yung pinakamahirap na part ng interview is the behavioral assessment. Anong topic mo bukas or Saturday, Miss Jen? So Saturday po sa podcast, sa Ballsy podcast, it's gonna be the video resume. Situational questions is often unpredictable and difficult because, they're testing your intelligence. They're testing if kaya mo mag-think out of the box. They're testing if logical ka mag-isip. They're testing if organized ka. They're testing if details-oriented ka. They're testing different skills that's needed for the job. Kaya nga may situational. Doon nila tinetest yung kine-claim mo na experience tsaka skills sa resume mo. I've been watching interview tips online but I still can't ace a single interview. Find out why. Saan ka nalalaglag? Do you ask for feedback? myfreightstaff.ph, prospecting VA, operations VA, customer service VA ang open nila. Okay. Kapag tinanong ka po ng interviewer kung anong tanong mo sa kanya, ano po magandang itanong. Yan, okay. So, papunta tayo, patapos na tayo niyan. And this live is gonna end at 11, so sakto siguro. So happy I found your live. Okay, I'm so happy that you stepped in. Thank you. How to answer, tell me about yourself. Okay, so we kind of answered that at around 8:30. Grabe yung 100 questions ako. Kahit tell me about yourself, di ko na memorize. You can't memorize for a spontaneous event. Spontaneous ang interview po. Kaya yung mga naglalagay na mga mock interview sa TikTok or wherever it is where you find it, YouTube, that's scripted. Okay? They're looking at a script. They're practically reading it. Na kunyari si client, kunyari si VA, kunyari si interview, kunyari. Is that like a real interview? At a real interview, do they give you a script? Of course not. It's spontaneous. So, if a mock interview they're doing a script, it's absolutely the opposite of a real interview. 'Di ba? Dapat ang simulation interview ganun din, hindi scripted. 'Di ba? Yung mga tanong hindi mo alam kung anong tatanungin. 'Di ba? By the way, sa mga gusto magpa-simulation interview, just DM me or comment on one of my videos. If you finish the simulation interview, then after that, I'm going to give you a guide, like a complete guide. Like, these are the types of questions na sa opener, what are the best practices for answering them. Hindi kita bibigyan ng answer. Like, you come up with your own answer. Pero yung parang, 'di ba, paghandaan mo, magbasa ka, i-absorb mo. 'Di ba? So, a mock interview where it's scripted totally does not prepare you for any kind of interview because it's a script. It's like a play. 'Di ba? Na alam mo na kung ano sasabihin mo. Does that happen in an interview? No. So mock interviews for me are absolutely useless as preparation for an interview. Miss Jen, I had this one interview na medyo tumagal yung usap namin ni interviewer. Good thing po ba yun? Depends what we were laughing. That is a great indication. If you made your interviewer or the client laugh, that is, you're on, hindi yung natatawa sila sa'yo, na nakaka-insulto. Like they're laughing with you. Or you made a joke with the client. Now you're building a rapport. Okay? Now the client gets you. You get the other person. Diba? So laughing is a great indication. Okay? Pero wag kayo basta-basta mag-joke sa interview, Okay? It's very iffy to make a joke. If you feel like the interview was really good, maybe make a joke at the end. Diba? Like, I'll see you next week. Mga ganon, diba? So, let's say after the behavioral, let's say everything went well. Paano natatapos ang isang interview? Okay. So, usually the interviewer will tell you, okay, that's all the questions I have for you today. Do you have any questions for me? Diba? Usually the client will ask that. And that's how you know na patapos na yung interview. Okay. Ano yung mga magagandang indicator na maganda yung interview mo? If the client or the interviewer asks, when are you available? How soon are you available to start? Yan. Ayan. Or, stop recording it. Okay, so they've stayed like 35 minutes, nakalimutan niya na need na stop recording yung interview. So chikahan na kayo. That's a good sign. Yung nakipagchikahan. Pag nakipagchikahan yung interviewer, humingi na kayo ng feedback right then and there. Diba? Or magtanong kayo more about the company. Gaano katagal ka na sa kumpanya? Diba? Okay ba sila? So, do you get VLs? Wag mo tanungin, how much are you making? Wag mo tanungin sa interviewer mo. Nagchichikahan na nga kayo, di ba? Ibig sabihin, you made a really great impression. Because hindi siya makipagchikahan sa'yo if you didn't. Okay? But don't spoil it. Don't spoil the good vibe. Okay? What questions to avoid asking the interviewer? How much are you making? Okay? How much are you offering me? Yung namimili ka ng sarili mong schedule, that's not a good indicator. Okay. If the interviewer asks, the client asks, can you work night shift? Sure. Mga ganyan. If you're working with other clients, be upfront, be honest. I'm available night shift EST because I actually have another client at Pacific time. That's Pacific time. Like, let them know right then and there. Kasi pag hindi nyo sinabi sa kanila, like, you'll never know. Lalo na mga karamihan ng VA agencies have this no moonlighting policy, which actually goes against the Philippine Labor Code, but they won't tell you that. But para sa akin, maganda na yung idiretso nyo na. Well, I actually have a client that they're on Pacific time, but I only work for them per project when I have a project. So, if it's okay, yes, I can work night shift, but I can work EST, Eastern Time, or Central Time. Is that okay? Yeah. Wag kayo magtatanong, when can I start? Don't ask that. Let them decide. The ball is in their court. Ikaw may kailangan sa kanila. Sila ang magsasabi. Okay? Opo, Miss Jen, natanong ko nga po, what are the things I should be looking forward to when working with you? Oh, excellent question. Galing mo na, Neva. Magtayo ka na ng course. Joke. Have you had an Australian client? I've advised and I've worked with some Australian clients who had VAs. If yes, do they ask difficult questions? Not really. Australians usually are pretty straightforward. But I still prefer working with American clients. Why? Kasi yung mga Australian clients, literal sila, as in literal. And yun yung mahirap sa kanila. Kaya kayong mga Pinoy na mahilig mangako, okay, social media manager, well, I can grow your following on LinkedIn to 5,000 in a week. Okay? Ililiteral kayo ng Australiano. If you're putting an Australian client on hold and you tell them, let's say your customer service, they called in. You're like, I need to find out about your account because I think the notes here are, there's not it's not telling me the whole story. Can I put you on hold for a minute? You said a minute. Okay. Sa Australiano, it should be 1 minute, 60 seconds, literal. Okay, hindi sila tulad ng Amerikano. You said a minute, and then okay lang sa Amerikano kahit hold mo ng 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Australians, they're not like that. If you tell them this, ililiteral ka nila. That's what I find difficult about Australian clients. And they don't pay as much as us, the American clients, like medyo lower. Diba? I mean, I don't know, as a rule. I think usually they offer lower. Tsaka yung exchange rate ng Australian dollar to the peso is lower. So I haven't worked with any directly. Although, I mean, may mga humihirit sa akin. But, I know that they can't afford me for what I want to make, for what they want me to do for them. Does that make sense? So if you're looking for Australian clients, and kind of the same with New Zealanders as well, like medyo literal sila. So you have to be really careful what you promise them and what you can do and what you cannot do for them. Okay. Tsaka kasi if you promise them something and you do not deliver, masakit sila magsalita. Handa mo yung sarili mo. And they won't stop. Like they'll just keep hopping on it. Diba? Ayoko ng ganun. So, Neva, ang galing mo na. Professional ka na. Interviewee. Alright. Do not ask at the end of the interview, so, when can I start? No. Let the client make that decision. Excuse me. And here's where I have a lot of problems with Gen Z. Okay. At the end of the interview, let's say it's a group interview, and then I tell them, okay guys, thank you so much for your time. And my style of interview is I like to give a takeaway, okay, sa mga ini-interview ko, which is something they don't expect and which is something that not all interviewers do. So for example, what do I mean by takeaway? Parang may nakuha ka kahit hindi ka na-hire. Diba? So I tell them, for those of you who don't have experience yet, blah, 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 blah. Okay? There's free training on ganyan. You might want to try to look for training. So on Class Central, sign up for it. Look for this learning path. You need more experience, right? You need more experience. You need more insight on what the role is. So this is what I advise. Diba? You don't need to pay for the training. Go to this, blah, blah. Palagi ako may takeaway at the end of my interview. Kaya lahat ng mga in-interview ko, nagugulat sila. Diba? Kasi para sa akin, it builds goodwill. And honestly, I want you to succeed. Okay? A good interviewer is on your side. They want you to make it. They want you to succeed. It may not be today, like you may not be the right fit for the job right now, diba? But they want you to succeed. They're on your side. Diba? So I always give a takeaway at the end of my interviews. Hindi lahat ng interviewer po ganon. Okay? And my takeaway is what? Knowledge, advice, right? Because you should learn to do things yourself. Okay? Like we're not all, hindi tayo lahat anak ng bilyonaryo na sila bigay ng kotse, bigay ng bahay, like not everyone. That's why you have to learn to work yourself. You have to learn how to do it yourself. Right? How do you do that? Well, you train yourself, you upskill yourself, you upgrade what you already know, right? And that is, I think, one of the most valuable things that I can give you. Kaya palagi ako may takeaway at the end of my interview. And then, again, like at the beginning of the interview, I set expectations. I tell them, so you'll need to wait like 24 to 48 hours for a response from us. And if you receive an email saying thank you very much, it means that you don't have the qualifications we're looking for right now. Diba? If you receive an email saying congratulations, you passed into training, after that, you need to wait for the trainer to email you, blah, 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 blah. So, nagsiset na ako na expectation. Okay? Ngayon, pag binigyan ka ng time frame, wait for the time frame. Okay? It fucking pisses me off. One time, so sinabi ko, please give us until Friday to make a decision, da 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 da, and you'll get an email at least by Thursday or Friday. Yun ang sinabi ko. And then it was like Tuesday for the interview. Right after the interview, may nag-email agad sa akin na aplikante that I just interviewed. And she was like, can I know right away? Because I have other applications that are waiting and I don't know if, you're not going to hire me, blah, blah, blah. Diba? Sinabi ko, give us until at least Friday to make a decision. Pag binigyan ka ng deadline, then kung ayaw mo hintayin yung deadline na yon, then let the interviewer know that, you know what, I'm gonna take another opportunity. Tama lang naman, di ba? Pero yung iba-blackmail mo ko, ho-hostagein mo ko na parang, I have other applications. Kung ayaw nyo ko i-hire, blah, 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 blah. So, could you tell me right now na blah, 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 blah. Like, I hate that. So, anong sinagot ko sa kanya? You're welcome to, your other applications. Thank you so much for your time. You're not the right fit right now. Ginanong ko talaga siya. Because obviously, we're not a priority. Which client, which VA agency wants to hear from you as an applicant na hindi sila yung priority mo? Kung hindi sila priority mo, edi umayaw ka na kaagad. Diba? Make sense? Mamili ka ng pinakamagandang opportunity para sa'yo. I understand that. You want the best opportunity. Edi piliin mo na, ayawan mo na yung mga hindi babagay sa'yo. Natatawa nga ako, ma'am. Dati, ang hirap ma-invite for interviews, then bugbog sa interview. I have clients running after me. Right? Why do I not take them? Because I want to make sure that the offer is right for me. Okay? I want to be available when the right offer comes along. Worth it yung pagtatambay sa tamang live and trainings, paid or free. Wow. Can you give us some sites po na may training na free para di po kaya mag-apply na walang experience? If you haven't watched my videos, you should. I did a whole series last week. Puro mga free training for Google, Yoast Academy, mga kilalang pangalan yun, mga big name yun ha. Hindi ako nagre-recommend ng kami ang the best VA Academy. Like, di ba? Unless alam ko talaga na tikalidad yung course. Right? So, if you're looking for Reva training, real estate training, si Coach Isa. And her training center is directly connected with a VA agency na. Okay? And hindi lang real estate ang training niya. Yun lang may bayad. Ngayon, kung ayaw niyo magbayad, then you should watch my videos. There's a whole list of, if you want to take training for, like, Google, like, it's in my videos. If parang feeling nyo babagay sa inyo yung SEO but you're not sure, I did a video on Yoast Academy. Right? Sign up on Yoast Academy. They have a lot of free SEO videos. Doon nyo malalaman if, na-enjoy ko yung course ng SEO. I think SEO is for me. Because I enjoy trends and, I write really good in English and gusto ko yung fast-paced and I like looking at statistics, mga ganyan. So, maybe SEO is for you. If you're not sure, do the free training first. Okay? Tapos, sa Class Central, sa mga medyo techie, so yung Amazon, they started opening Amazon web series, yung mga webinar. Sign up for the website. Go to Amazon, go to find Amazon web series, sign up for the newsletter, tapos sila mag-email sa'yo kung kailan nakaschedule. Yung Amazon, hindi pa putok na putok. So, and I just feel in my bones that papasok sila sa AI na industriya. So, if, for example, you decide to start doing some training on Amazon Web Services, you could be in the right place at the right time when they do decide to, get into Yoast Academy, YOAST, yung sa video ko, yung SEO, free SEO training for VAs and freelancers. My video from last week. Okay. Tsaka, there's also Class Central. So, yung Class Central, kung interested kayo sa LinkedIn Learning, buong listahan ng LinkedIn Learning nandun. Karamihan is free. Yung mga may certificate, yung iba is free, yung iba partly free. Okay? Hindi lahat totally free, pero marami meron. 'Di ba? Ngayon, kung ayaw nyo muna gumastos, you know what? It makes sense maghanap ng malalaking kumpanya that offer free training. Why? Kasi sila yung may budget. 'Di ba? Sila yung may budget mag-alok ng free training, like Google. There's even a course on Google Digital Garage called How to Present Yourself Online and How to Get a Job. If you're looking for a job, shouldn't you be taking that Google course? Diba? So, kung hindi nyo pa alam yung mga ganon, like the first thing you need to be as a VA or freelancer is you need to be a really good researcher for yourself. Because if you can't research it for yourself, you'll never be able to research something for a client. Ano po yung VA lago nadidinig yan? Well, for me, it stands either for virtual assistant or voice actor. So, may SEO po din kayo na training. I don't offer any training. Silipin mo yung mga videos ko. May SEO training for free sa Yoast Academy. I'm curious po, what's the biggest challenge you face being a virtual assistant? The biggest challenge I face kapag hindi ko nakasundo yung client. Pag yung client naging kupal. Because, money doesn't change people. It's what you do with the money that changes you. So for a client who's earning, let's say, a client who has a marketing agency na kumikita ng, let's say, 12,000 a month, for him to go from 12,000 a month income to 75,000 a month na income, like, nababago yung ugali ni client. Like, I've seen it so many times. How do you handle kupal na clients? Well, I try to avoid working with them. Diba? Sino bang may gusto ng kupal na client? Kupal na client, yung mga racist na clients, may mga hirit about mga Pinoy, mga ganon. Like, who wants to work for that? Even if they're giving you $5,000 a month. Do you really want to hear that, oh, you're stupid? It's not, like, not everything is about money. Klaro po, yung sa ending ng interview, yung mga hindi nyo dapat itanong, tsaka pag nagtanong si client, do you have any questions for me? Have at least one question. Okay? Karamihan ng mga Pinoy, when the client or the interviewer asks, do you have any questions for me? No, I'm good. No, I'm okay. It doesn't really show that you're interested. Okay? If you have at least one question, okay, it shows your interest. And it can be a really simple question. So one of my jobs before from the VA agency that I resigned from last year, or that I left last year, I used to place VAs and clients. So mina-match ko yung the right VA with the right client, depending on what the client is looking for, in terms of skills and experience. And then yung isang VA, ang ganda ng tanong niya. Tinanong ng client, so maganda yung interview. So, fina-facilitate ko yung interview. Naka-register ka na. Okay, very good. Di ba ang daming training? Medyo mahirap lang yung SEO minsan eh. Tsaka there's different types of SEO. So, yeah, you can specialize in one type of SEO if you want. So, maganda yung interview, yung placement interview. And then at the end, the client asked the VA. He was like, yeah, I think we're going to be a good match. Do you have any questions for me? Tapos, tinanong ni VA kay client, what kind of boss are you? Like, are you the kind of boss that, di ba, ang ganda ng tanong, what kind of boss are you? Are you the kind of boss that does meetings in the morning? Are you the kind of boss that, it's gonna make me work on holidays? Like, what kind of, are you a jolly boss? Parang ganun. Yun ang tanong ni VA. Ganda ng tanong kasi natawa si client. Diba? SEO, Search Engine Optimization. SEO writing, ito, bala ko sana ma'am, pero need more learning. Yeah, so SEO writers, if your command of English is not excellent, don't be an SEO writer. Okay. You're gonna be isipin nyo English is your second or third language. As Pinoy, diba? As it is for most of us. For me, it's not. Okay. Tapos, you're gonna take up SEO writing. You're gonna be working for clients whose first language is English. Maja-judge po kayo nun. So, unless your English is excellent, like you can write as if English is your first language. Hindi yung tama lang lahat ng grammar, okay na. Hindi eh. Hindi siya ganun. Right? Unless you have a writing style and you're really good at what you do and like your command of English is 3 times excellent, don't be an SEO writer. Because you're just letting yourself in for a lot of pain. Kasi yung mga clients, a lot of them, English first language, ang first language nila. Hindi kayo makakalaban doon. Okay, no matter how long you've been speaking English, they've been speaking and learning it for longer. Shopify editing VA for $550, and am I being ripped off? I have no idea. I don't do Shopify. Shopify editing lang. Like you're not a dev. You don't do anything with web development and Shopify. I don't know. But ngayon ko lang nakita to tapos na pala SEO training mo. Hindi ako nag-aalok na SEO training. Self-paced yung training dun sa video links ko. I will use that pain to grow more. Chos. Yeah. Choose your battles, right? Choose what you're gonna be good in. And something that you will enjoy. Diba? Scam po ba to 40,000 monthly ang offer sa akin, but 400K po ang sinend nila sa akin kahapon. Yeah, that's what they call the Nigerian scam. Not a dev po, just editing, formatting their blog posts. Then 550 is probably fair. I don't know. If hindi ka dev. So Jack Collins, 40,000 monthly tapos sinend sa'yo is 400K. Sasabihin sa'yo niyan, ay, sobra yung binigay namin sa'yo. Ihulog mo yung kulang. Ay, hinulog mo yung sobra dun sa account na blah, 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 blah. And then you'll find out na yung sinweldo mo na 40K is like, it's not real. So it's a form of the Nigerians. It sounds like a form of the Nigerian scam. You should read up on that. Hey Donnie, what's up? So what we discussed today is just like the structure of a structured interview, the types of interviews, which is structured and unstructured. Sa initial interview pa lang yun First interview pa lang yun. Wala pa tayo sa unstructured, tsaka wala pa tayo dun sa, halimbawa, sa next interview. Tapos iba yung usually format ng interview dun sa mga technical na trabaho. What do I mean by technical na trabaho? Yung mga VAs na skill set nila medyo technical. Like, mga web developer. Yan. Yung mga automation specialists. Yan. Kasi iba yung format nila. Kahit yung mga designers. And we haven't even started talking about test projects. Okay. So, this live will be every Tuesday, 8 to 11, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. here in TikTok Live. It's going to be either hot interview tips or kung may nag-sign up for like a simulation interview, we'll do a simulation interview with feedback. So hopefully you guys will be here next week for that. Mukhang sasabak si Neva. Mukhang siyang bibinyag sa mga sa simulation interviews. What else, guys? No other questions. We have like 6-7 minutes left. I did a series today on interviewing the different generations, so that's kind of fun. Oo. Anong lamp? Lam. Namo. Hindi lamp. Lam. Tupa, diba? So I did a series today. It was kind of fun on interviewing baby boomers, Generation X, Millennials, and Generation Z. Okay. So if you want to watch those, typo. Okay. Kaya mo yan, diba? Sorry naman. So you might want to check my videos for that. Like, if you disagree with my video, it's fine. The fact that you think that something is wrong just tells me nag-iisip ka. Okay? Hindi ka tanggap ng kahit whoever's opinion it is. Diba? And if you guys want to join my regular podcast, which is every week, Saturday, 12 a.m., which is parang Friday night shift sa mga working. Diba? So, 12 a.m. Saturday, Philippine time, the topic is going to be the video resume. Okay. Why you should do a video resume, what is it, what you should include, diba? Ano yung tamang format sa video resume for different types of jobs, right? I really appreciate you guys being here. This is kind of the first session for this, parang interview tips and simulation interviews and stuff. Never gumamit ka ng Grammarly pag nagre-writing. Ako nga gumagamit ng Grammarly. Tsaka copy.ai. May bayad kasi yung Jasper. Kung makahawa ka ng Jasper, aralin mo yun. Madali lang naman. Pero kailangan mo pa rin. Like, it's gonna give you general copy or content or paraphrasing. Pero dapat mo pa rin. Parang i-customize mo pa rin. Para hindi halata na galing sa AI. So guys, I don't know if you missed our discussion from last week's podcast. We actually talked about automation, so marketing automation as a VA skill set. I'm going to put that video and this video on my YouTube channel, so if you want to follow me there to get the replay, it's the same. It's the VA interviewer on YouTube. My name is Jen, so that might help. Tanggalin mo yung grammar correction. Diba? Ano bang gusto mo? Ano bang napili mo na niche? Oh, thank you, Chiwi. Let me follow you. Thank you so much. Ano ba napili mong niche, Neva? Parang dami mong gusto. Ano ka ba, Gen X? Yung problema sa Gen X, ang daming ginagawa, diba? Ang daming gusto. Honestly, the generation I enjoy interviewing the most is the millennials. Okay. That's probably the ones that I've interviewed the most. Yung mga Gen Z, so medyo bata pa kayo, you're like between 11 to 26 years old. I only started interviewing mga Gen Z siguro mga 2 to 3 years ago. Yeah. Magkaibang personality talaga. Ang layo. And then iba pa yung personality sa amin because I'm a Generation X. Nalilito na nga ako, ma'am. Sa dami ba naman ng resources, parang ewan na ako. Enjoy the process. Enjoy the journey. And then follow your heart. Diba? Kung saan ka nag-e-enjoy. Ito gusto ko eh. Diba? And you know what? Neva, ito na-experience ko palagi. Okay. You decide to do something and the whole world disagrees with you. Yeah. The whole world does not support you. They're like, you gotta be crazy. Hindi yan babagay sa'yo. Hindi blah, blah, blah. Ganyan, ganyan. Like, I've experienced that so many times. But you know what? If it's in your heart, like, diba? Parang, si Rowena, alam niya. Nung nag-boxing ako, and when I started boxing, I was like 44 years old. Like 43. Hindi ako suportado ng asawa ko. My daughter thought I was crazy. Diba? Pero tingnan nyo, nakaapat din na ako nalaban, di ba? Tapos wala akong talo. Like, if it's in your heart, even if the whole world tells you that you're fucking crazy for doing this, like, alam masakit palagi na lang may nasasabi ibang tao, and minsan family mo pa. Yeah. Sarili kong asawa, ayaw niya pumunta sa unang laban ko. I had no support. So, you know, there are times that nobody's gonna support you. May quotes ako about dyan. Yeah. Remember, it's just a dress rehearsal. Diba? You are practicing for the real thing. And you know what? If you're doing things that people tell you is not right for you, you know what it means? They're afraid to do it. You are setting a new standard. Diba? How many women that are 43 years old sasabak sa boxing sa laban? Not many. Right? And I did it. And I did it because I loved it. Right? If it's in your heart and it makes you happy, like, do it. Even if the whole world tells you no. And pero ihanda mo yung sarili mo na masasaktan ka because people are gonna say you're fucking crazy. Okay? Like, it's gonna happen. And I'm just telling you that para the next time nakakarinig kayo na mga ganyan, you're not the only one. Nangyari kay Neva, nangyari kay Rowena. Nangyari yun kay kay VA interviewer. Yeah, it's gonna happen to you at some time. Ikaw ang unang maging cheerleader ng sarili mo muna bago ibang tao. Yan ang natutunan ko. Love yourself first. Nakakatakot pala si ma'am. Well, hindi na ako lumalab. Like, you know, hopefully I'll get back into it. Muay Thai naman next. Diba? Nakalimutan ko lang sino yung nagsabi niyan. You're not alone. Like, the whole world's gonna tell you that you're crazy, but remember, like, you're not alone. You're not the first one it's happened to. So if it's in your heart, follow your heart. Maniniwala lang sila if may result na yung ginagawa mo. Oo, exactly. Kaya ituloy mo lang. Kahit palpak. Next time you'll do better. Right? Learn from your mistakes. All right. Really appreciate your time, guys. And I'll see you next week. And hopefully I'll see you on Saturday where we're going to be discussing video resumes. I hope that you've picked up some information that helps you